Finally, after 12 long months, the Tigers are back on the WAFL's grandest stage, and a shot at redemption awaits after the disappointment of last season. This day has haunted Claremont over the past 15 years, however, having lost 4 grand finals since the club's last premiership in 1996. All 4 of those losses have come in the past 7 years, and on 2 occasions against today's opponents in Subiaco. Simon McPhee's men have had a fortnight to prepare for today's blockbuster after defeating West Perth by 85 points in the second semi-final. Claremont also claimed a minor premiership for the second straight year, but for the Tigers, their season starts here, with anything less than victory today, rendering season 2011 a failure. In stark contrast, Subiaco will happily ride the underdog's tag into today's decider. Despite having owned this day over the past decade, the Lions are gunning for its 5th premiership in 8 seasons. But unlike Subiaco's sides before them, this group features a number of young Cubs yet to taste premiership success. In his second year at the club, coach Chris Waterman has rejuvenated this list with an exciting mix of youthful exuberance and canny experience. Few predicted Subiaco to show in September, let alone challenge for the premiership, yet Waterman's men have stormed home with a late season surge to win their last 9 encounters. Subiaco are yet to beat Claremont in 2011, yet know all too well how to crack the Tigers on the WAFL's biggest day. This is the 2011 WAFL Grand Final, live from Subiaco Oval, the Tigers versus the Lions for the 127th WAFL Premiership.
Yes, a very good afternoon, everyone. It is Grand Final day for 2011, the most exciting day of the year. Of course, at the beginning of the year, each of the 9 WAFL clubs strove to be here on this day. Unfortunately, only 2 could ever be here, and it is Claremont and Subiaco. Claremont winning the minor premiership and Subiaco qualifying 3rd. They'll do battle for the 127th WAFL Premiership flag. Well, let's have a more detailed look at how both of these clubs got here through their finals campaign. First of all, Subiaco and South Fremantle did battle in the first semi-final, and it was the Lions who controlled it pretty much all day. South Fremantle was still in it at half-time, only 20 points the difference, but it was a big blowout in the 3rd quarter when Subiaco did all of the damage, and they ran out comfortable winners by 85 points in what was a pretty soft win. It was a soft win also for the Tigers against West Perth in the second semi-final. In fact, that game was all over by half-time. You can see the half-time score there, 12 goals, 6 to 3-1, and it continued to go all the Tigers' way. The margin also 85 points at the end of the second semi-final. It was a lot tougher for Subiaco in the preliminary final at Arena Joondalup last Sunday, and in fact they were just 2 points in front at quarter time. The Falcons led by 2 points at half time, and again Subiaco in the 3rd quarter did most of the damage to put paid to the Falcons, and in the end they ran out winners under difficult conditions by 15 points. Well, let's have a look at the games that have been played already. The grand finals, the first of them, the Colts yesterday, and it was South Fremantle, big winners, 19 goals 7, 121 to Claremont's 12-11, 83, and Mason Shaw for South Fremantle kicking 7 goals, I should say, and winning the medal for the best player afield. Well, the reserves game has just been completed, and it was the Tigers hanging on, 15 goals 16, 106 in an exciting match to Perth, 13-8, 86. And Jack Bradshaw winning the medal for the best player afield there. Well, at half-time at the football this afternoon, we'll be looking at all the glitz and glamour and the winners and grinners on Sandover Medal Night. Of course, that took place on Monday evening. Luke Blackwell was the winner of the medal. He was runner-up last year, but with 42 votes, he took out the Sandover Medal of 2011 from Kyle Horsley. In fact, after Luke Blackwell, it was very, very tight. Horsley runner-up on 33, Rory O'Brien from East Fremantle on 32, Brendan Lee from East Perth 31, Ross Young, a former winner, on 30, and Gary Moss 29. Ryan Cook in his first year in the WAFL with South Fremantle polling 28 votes. The Bernie Naylor medal, well, it went to Blake Broadhurst. That was no secret. He won that a long way before the end of the season, ran out the clear winner of that medal by 16 goals. His nearest rival, Corey Delolio, on 52, Tim Gaten on 51, and getting to 50, both Brock O'Brien and Josh Smith. Well, the Rodriguez Shield was won by Claremont, and that's no surprise. They actually played off in 3 grand finals, and they were clear winners, 286 points, the Tigers. Their nearest rivals, West Perth on 234, South Fremantle on 222, and Subiaco on 204. Well, both of the coaches, Simon McPhee and Chris Waterman, have basically done all that they can do for the season. They've handed it over to their players now. They've delivered their last missive for this season, and it's all about the players doing the job on the field. Neither coach is overawed by the situation. Simon McPhee is desperate to atone for last year's last gasp defeat, and Chris Waterman's enjoyed his first final series and goes in full of optimism into his first ever grand final as a senior coach. Earlier on today, they spoke with our boundary rider, Rod Willett.
Today's about beating Subiaco in 2011. That's what it's been about all year. Guess we've had that question a lot, and it's a fair question. Different things drive different people. My drive is to win the 2011 Premiership for Claremont Footy Club. That's what it's been.
Are you worried about playing a team that's in the best form of probably the year and won the last 9 in a row?
Fantastic performance. I mean, 9 in a row to make a final and then make a grand final. Yeah, they're a great side. On form, they're the best team in the competition at the back end of the year. I guess for us, over the whole year, we've been the best team in regards to where we finished, so we've earned the right to be here as well. We're very confident in our own ability, but very aware that we've got a really tough game. We've got a hard 2 hours to get what we want.
You fell just short of the line last year. Is it the year of the Tiger?
I reckon it is. Spin. We've had a good year. We've worked hard. We've managed to manage our group over what's been a long year. The players are driven, for various reasons. I'd like to think it is. Yeah.
Chris, are you surprised that today Subiaco will be playing in the grand final?
Oh, just a little bit, I guess. But once you get through that prelim, you've won it. I guess you've got 7 days to have a good think about it. And on Monday we got together and thought, well, we played good footy for 9 weeks. Let's see if we can't put another week together and see if we can create something special.
You have been fantastic for the last 9 weeks. Is the pressure starting to mount, and are the players fit and ready to go?
No, I guess the message all week was nothing's changed for us. As I've always said, had we lost one of the last 9, we wouldn't even got in. So you lose the first semi, you're out. You lose the prelim, you're out. You lose today, you miss out in the premiership. So we've attacked it with that nothing to lose mentality, and everything to gain. But we've got to make sure we don't just flippantly go through the game plan. We have to set up. We've had to set up really well all week to try and negate Claremont, who we haven't beaten in 2 years.
So the job is ahead of Subiaco. Alistair Pickett with the gloves on, warming up. It would be a flyweight if he changed sports, there's no doubt about that. Danny Hughes has been a terrific pickup for Subiaco this season. His first season in the WAFL. Des Headland looks fit. Certainly didn't look 100% last week at the preliminary final. Pat Hassett has had a very consistent season. We'll get probably one of the biggest jobs today on one of the key Claremont midfielders, and Robbie Forrest. He may be in line to pick up Ian Richardson. Dangerous small forward for the Tigers. And Blake Broadhurst, well, there's been some concerns about his health over the last couple of weeks. He missed last week with concussion, but he's stripped and ready to go today. Kane Mitchell, what a great season he's had for Claremont, one of their real prime movers. Andrew Brown, he's been in and out a bit with injuries. Elroy Gilligan had an injury earlier on in the season. A very dangerous player who could well come to the fore this afternoon. So the Tigers and the Lions pretty much ready. The Claremont captain Clancy Rutherforth sadly missed last year's grand final with a broken jaw, but he's all keyed up and ready to go for the 2011 grand final. So too are the commentators joining me this afternoon. Corbin Middlemass will be sharing the call with me, and special comments Ken Judge at Brad Wirra. Welcome to all of you, and Corbin, congratulations on your award earlier in the week, the Clinton Gribus Rising Star radio broadcaster.
Thanks,
I'm in my 23rd consecutive year calling. I haven't even got anything that closely resembles an award, but well done to you. Judgy, first of all, well, both of these sides have got here on their own merits. You'd have to think at the moment that Claremont, as near as they can be to their full strength side, barring Ryan Brabazon, who just didn't come up, was hoping he might play. They're pretty much at full strength, the Tigers.
Well, they are, and look, there's a great story. The Subiaco story is a fantastic story. The fact they've got to a grand final when they've really played sudden death footy for so long, and to make it to a grand final is a great effort. I just tend to think that Claremont have been the best side all year. I think they've had the best run in here. They've had a week off last week. They're well prepared. It probably came at the right time when you consider they played right through that Foxtel Cup. To get a week off last week, it's their first week they've probably had off this year. Probably the right time to have it a week before a grand final, which is a great thing for them. I think they've got a little bit more talent than Subi. and I think they've got a lot to play for considering they lost last year. So, I mean, I think it tilts towards Claremont, but I wouldn't write Subi off because they've been fantastic for the last couple of months. And they'll be about the place.
You're concurring with that, Brad?
I am indeed, yes.
Spoken like an old Tiger.
I think it's the Tigers' turn, but we did say that last year, and hats off to Subi, as Judgy said, 9 in a row, and they've had a fantastic run in. Grand finals, as we saw, or finals in general, as we saw Friday night, preliminary final, it's a different story. If Subi get out of the box, who knows, but I think it's the Tigers for mine.
Let's have a look at the recent history between these two sides, and only this year they've met twice. Claremont have dominated. You heard Simon McPhee say that Subi haven't beaten them for a couple of seasons. Claremont in round 5 by just 6 points, but it was a big margin, 17-12 to 9-14 in round 12. And if you look at the head-to-heads in history, post-war, they have played 204 times against each other, with Claremont winning 99, Subiaco 104. There has been one draw, and if we look at the total grand finals that Claremont have played, they've played in 24, they've won 10, lost 13 and drawn 1. Subiaco have played in 23, one fewer than the Tigers, they've won 11 and lost 12. So a pretty good ratio there. There's the Tigers line up. When you look at it, Judgy, it's a side that really hasn't let them down, and we mentioned a moment ago, pretty much full strength and one to be feared by Subiaco today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've got good players in all lines here, as we can see. A number of AFL listed players going around today as well, of course, when you talk about Swift and Stevenson and Whedon, and Wilkes, who was a former listed player. So Chad Jones also formerly listed at an AFL club. Blackwell's been in the AFL system, Foster as well, so lots of good players here, very good team.
Let's flip over to the Subiaco lineup. Missing some of their top players this year, Brad, but that still is a very, very well-performed side, certainly doing it hard last week, and if they're fresh, they're going to be very competitive today.
Indeed, and led by their defence with the three talls down there in Rumble, Parker and Randall. Their full forward comes back in today, Broadhurst, the Bernie Naylor medalist, so that's a great inclusion for the Subiaco team, and they've got some experience in AFL as well.
Let's pause for the national anthem. Yes, well, there it was, the national anthem, and they may be the youngest trio ever to perform the national anthem at a sporting event such as this. Let's have a look at the toss of the coin. Umpire Craig Hendry officiating, Clancy Rutherford on the right, Aidan Parker on the left, and Aidan Parker's won the toss, so Subiaco to kick to the city end of the ground. The flags at the very top of the scoreboard opposite to us, Corbin, are blowing. I'm just wondering whether or not it's going to be much effect down on the ground, but we should go down to Rod Willett and Todd Ridley, who are on ground level.
Yes, thanks very much, Phil, and there's crowds building, and certainly let's hope we're in for a great game today, Todd. The weather looks like it's going to sort of help us out, I hope. It's a pretty sort of warm 19 degrees down here on the ground at the moment. The humidity's at 61%, and also the wind at the moment is from the west about 15 kilometres an hour. But Todd, when you get out there, it feels as though it's swirling around. It feels as though when you're out in the middle of the ground, there's actually a fair bit of north in that wind as well.
Yeah, it is swirling around as it does here at Subi, Rod. But I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I think for mine, Claremont possibly just. Subi have been fantastic, 9 in a row to get here. But there's still one more job to do. I'm not too sure they're up to it. Claremont have got a very good side. Been the top side all year. 85-point win against West Perth 2 weeks ago. They've had the week off. Subi had a bruising encounter last week, Rod, so it's going to be tough for them.
No, there's no doubt, and I'm going to try and make a case for Subi, even though I think Claremont might be a little bit too strong today, but there's certainly Kyle Horsley, Bristow and Cocky. They've got to continue their great form that they've had over the last 9 weeks. Certainly Chris Waterman's going to play a part. I think they've got to try and stop the run of Claremont. They like to swing it wide and use the handball and run and carry. I think, you know, Subi might even look to put a couple of tags on early, because Subi will need to stay with Claremont as much as possible, and then possibly to the third quarter or fourth quarter, make it a shootout and actually try and steal the game. But it's one in the middle most times, but Claremont certainly got some big guns up there. There's a couple of big jogs for the Subiaco backman as well. But let's hope we get a real close game here this afternoon. Let's hope the weather keeps away. I did hear there was a little bit of rain hanging around that might move down this way, Todd, but the ground's in perfect condition. The crowd certainly is building up. Let's hope we have a beauty.
Yeah, about 12,000 at the moment, Rod, and I think Claremont will be too good. Blackwell, Shammer, Brown, a host of others to go through the middle. Claremont for mine, and I think Andrew Foster is my favourite for this IMSA medal today.
Okay, well, what about you, Judgy?
I don't know, I'm lost for words.
I think you're a Tiger man today. I know Brad Wirra.
Yeah, look, I'm leaning towards the Tigers. I think you're just a bit too much class, and I think they can win by about 4 or 5 goals.
I won't even ask her, Brad. What about you, Corbin?
Tigers comfortably.
Umpire Stuart Parry has the footy in the middle of the ground. Sunshine here at Subiaco Oval. Let's hope that that prevails for most of the afternoon. Andrews and Wheeler. Wheeler actually got the first hand to it. Hassett tried to hack the ball forward, then he fell into the back of McClernand, who'll take the free kick. He played on prematurely, gets the hand pass off now to Brown. First kick of the grand final to the half-forward line. Good contest by Handley, kept his feet, then couldn't get the ball to his boot. Coming in was Hughes, gives it at short quarters there to Phelan. Oh, Wheeler is ironed out in a huge hit. Play on is called. Wheeler's not getting up in a hurry. Another big hit from Wilkes there on Davey. A clearing kick from Aidan Parker. Horsley has it. Wheeler is still down and he may well be out.
Well, Judgy, grand finals, big smack like this from Brett Jones. Fantastic attack on the footy. Just get some yardage. The Subiaco players need to just get it up the line long and early.
Well, I tell you, it was just a perfect timing for hip and shoulder, and he's taken him out and he's in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, they've called the blood rule. He's not in a good shape here at the moment, Phil, but I'll give you the Claremont bench as we hopefully this young fella will be fine. We've got Whedon, Murphy, who's come back in, Gilligan and Laurie. He's not looking too good, the young fella, but he's trying to get back up.
Judgy, Aidan Parker came in today with an injury cloud already. He's really the next option now to go into the ruck. If Clancy Wheeler can't take any further part, this is a massive blow for Subi.
Well, it is, I tell you what, but he's not in great shape, and you'd think, I mean, the chance of you actually being able to get him back into some sort of shape to play, you think are highly unlikely the way he is at the moment.
His legs are gone.
Yeah.
Rod Willett with Subiaco's bench.
Yeah, no, boys, he's in a fair bit of trouble, and you'd think that Subi would have been stretched for their tools already. But we'll go on the bench. We've got Retker, Worthington, Ali Pickett, and Bletchenden just on, I think.
So Stevenson doing some of the ruck work here. Hughes was up over the top. This is Mitchell, gets it on the boot quickly. High up and under. Foster sitting underneath it, couldn't take the mark. Subi with the numbers. Parker dragged off his kick. Here's McClernand, gets it on the boot quickly. Ball trickles away down towards half forward. Richardson leading in the chase. He tried to cleverly knock it back into play. The boundary umpire says, let's throw it in. Adam Cocky just putting Mitchell down behind the play. You may have seen the bottom of your screen.
Corbin, that's the type of footy I was talking about. Get it on the boot, get some yardage, get 25, 30 metres. Good play from Tom Swift.
Lee doing the ruck work inside the attacking 50. They miss it completely. Bristow got it on the boot, bouncing footy out to Jones. They come for him. He kicks inside 50, looking in the direction of Wilkes. Down to Foster, he was taken high. Free kick against Rumble. A chance for Andrew Foster to go back and kick the first of the afternoon.
Well, I like the attack on the ball from both sides so far. There's no one sort of that hasn't really attacked it in a 100% manner, and we saw that there with Foster. He took the ball, got met high, but it was just his attack on the ball that was terrific there for Foster and Claremont.
On his way in, makes no mistake. The Tigers get the first after 3 minutes. An eventful opening to the 2011 WAFL Grand Final. Foster with the first, Claremont 1 straight 6, Subi yet to score.
Spot on the money, Judgy, with the attack on the footy from both sides, but it's an absolute luxury for Claremont and Simon McPheeney's match committee to play Andrew Foster as a half-forward and permanent half-forward at that. Occasionally goes into the midfield, but he's just such a fantastic finisher of the on goal, as we see there as he slots the first one on a pretty big occasion, and he's no stranger to grand finals.
hot on the heels of that injury to Clancy Wheeler. I thought Wheeler was their best player last week and arguably best on the ground in the preliminary final, so a huge loss. Stevenson to oppose Andrews. Brad Stevenson wouldn't have expected to be in the ruck so early. Andrews wins it, comes to Blackwell, the Sandover medalist, onto the left boot, doesn't travel very far. Cocky running with the same way as the footballer's taking a courageous mark. He's got Bristow free on centre wing. It's a beautiful kick into his path. Sits up nicely for him. Jason Bristow in toward full forward. Good mark taken by Headland. Well, wouldn't Subiaco love to see Des Headland get early touches and, more importantly, an early goal?
Yeah, well, look, was that Crawford? Yeah, it was Crawford in that contest. Crawford needed to meet the ball. He actually waited for it to come to him. And Headland, experienced player, smart player, and a good finish. You expect he'd kick this, but he just slipped in front of him. You've got to come and meet the ball.
He's got more strapping on his legs than Far Lap as he comes in, stabs at it, but sends it on its way. Subiaco have the quick reply. A great steadier from Des Headland. And inside 4.5 minutes, there is already a lot happening all over the ground.
Well, as we see on replay here, really good hard running from Bristow. We spoke about him in the preliminary final and his ability to run from both ends of the ground. He's a fantastic user, great use of the footy here, and Des Headland just came out and met the footy, as Judgy explained. But what the thing with Des Headland and Alistair Pickett down there, Ken, is they're both going to demand a really quality opponent.
Just go quickly down to Rod Willett for an update.
Yeah, some great news for Subiaco. We just had the thumbs up there to the trainers from Clancy Wheeler. They've stopped the blood out of his nose and everything like that. He looks a little bit glassy-eyed still, but I'm sure he wants to get back out there.
Throw against the Sandover medalist in the middle. He was then put down by the man who finished second on Monday night in Horsley. Slow to pick himself up.
He's very slow, isn't he?
Bristow takes the free kick. Not sure he went back over the mark. The kick comes out wide, and Cocky with the footy. Just behind the logos. He'll run over to Subiaco one now as he kicks them towards the hot spot. 40 out from goal. Lee up from the back. Stumped it away. Down to Randall. Couldn't get a boot the ball. Here's Stevenson. Gave it off to his teammate in Swift. Back to Stevenson. Gang tackled. We'll have a bounce. About 40 out from Subi's attacking goal. In the 6th minute of the WAFL Grand Final. A crowd of almost 13,000 in at the moment. Traditionally not big drawing teams as Stevenson knocks it away. Hassett throws the boot at it towards the top of the goal square. Here's Broadhurst. Couldn't control it. It may come back to him. Heavy tackle by Andrews. Spills down to Headland. He's got 2 in the opening 7 minutes. And Subiaco moved to 2 straight 12. The Tigers 1 straight 6. Des Headland inserted himself in the action very early here in the 2011 WAFL Grand Final. Ken Judge and Brad Wirra.
Well, just his experience there, Headland. He's just very good. I mean, he's clever. He's good in contested and congested situations like we saw there, and he just threw that on the boot. Just a real class effort from a from a bloke who should really, if he's half fit and looks half okay, and all that strapping means he can hold his body together. He can have an impact here today.
Already had a big impact in the first 7 minutes. Back in the middle of the ground, Stevenson, but Andrews had a better run at it. He won the tap. Horsley sharks it though and gives the hand pass cleverly to Hildebrand. A high kick to right half forward and tracking it toward the boundary line there is Brandon Franz, who's taken a good mark on the chest. Playing on Broadhurst. Franz short to Rutherford, the skipper. Goes along the wing. Wasn't a particularly good kick. Ill-directed, and Kane Bloxage has taken a mark almost on the boundary line. Short to Hildebrand, out on the wing in which Sean Hildebrand is playing in this first quarter. Rutherford may be his immediate opponent at the moment. Bristow's getting a fair bit of the footy. Wants to go short. Reason being that Kerr has come onto the ground and is straight into the action on the lead. He takes the mark. Still a couple of kicks away from goal. Gets a kick away. Over the top of Fran's head. Headland went to ground. Crawford gathers it. Gets it up now to Laurie, and Laurie with a steadying kick across the face of goal has found Jake Murphy back into the side after a week's suspension.
So Murphy goes towards half back and Trinity Handley takes the mark. 20-odd disposals and 2 goals in the second semi-final amongst Claremont's best against West Perth. A fortnight ago as Handley kicks down the broadcast wing. Wilkes his target, he's up in front and takes a good mark. Wilkes keen to move it on quickly. He'll go inboard, untidy kick, or gets past the Subiaco player in Kerr. At the back is Lee, kicks inside 50 for the Tigers. Good use of the body by Jones. If Chad can go back and pick it up, gets it over to Gilligan. He bangs it through for a goal. Scores back level in the 9th minute of the first term. 2 straight 12 apiece. Elroy Gilligan with his first grand final this afternoon.
Well, luck for fortune. Bad kick here by Wilkes. He actually got too close to the bloke on the mark and had to pull his kick in the end. He's kicked it square across the ground, which is not where he intended to go. The clean bowled a Subiaco player straight to a Claremont player who was running second to the ball. Opened up the front half for them and they got a goal out of it.
Great play by Chad Jones. Got his opponent rumble under the footy, allowed it to go over the back, and then did the hard yards, got down and gave the handball up to Gilligan. Really unselfish play. Probably could have kicked it himself.
So Hassett picking up Shammer. Clay McClernand's got the job on Kyle Horsley, one of the form players in the competition. Stevenson wins the tap, ricochets off a boot of Hassett's. Murphy got pushed to the ground but feeds the hand pass to the run of Shammer. Dribbles the ball up towards the half-forward line. In fact, it cartwheels well and truly inside attacking 50. And Ben Randall meets it for Subiaco. Says, I got one high up, didn't you see it? The umpire just says throw it in. Conditions at the moment just ideal for footy. Almost right on the 50 for Claremont. Boundary throw in. Wilkes doing some ruck work. So too over the top. Hanley. He won it. It's going to be collected by Parker. Shrugs one tackle. Then he's dispossessed. And the umpire said he had a prior opportunity. So Aiden Parker penalised. He's had some fitness concerns during the week. May not be 100%. The tackle was laid once, then a second time. And then it was all over, said the umpire. So Jarek Whedon, you'd think, wouldn't possibly miss this. A player of his skill goes back, puts it through, and Claremont have got 3. Subiaco 2. In the preliminary final last week, there were only 2 goals scored, one apiece in the entire first quarter. But this one is a bit of a goal fest, Brad.
It is, and much better conditions than the rubbish we were dished up last Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. But really good pressure here by Foster. Parker does break that tackle, just pure strength, but it was the second follow-up from Whedon, and good decision dropping the footy in front of goal 15 metres out. That's a certainty.
Garrick Whedon, a nice natural progression today if he's able to be involved in a premiership with the Tigers. Won the Colts premiership back in 2009 with Claremont and was in the Claremont's reserves premiership team last year. Back in the centre, Andrews doing the ruck work down to Murphy. It's the Tigers going forward again. Up in front is Handley. Falls down in front, socket away by Forrest. Keen for the boundary. And the umpire says that's okay. We'll have a boundary throw in. Clancy Rutherford there on screen in his 3rd grand final today. Missed last season after sustaining a fractured cheekbone in the 2nd semi-final against Swan Districts. Had to watch his side and go down from afar. As Andrews paddles it down to Murphy again. Hand pass inboard to Foster. Foster shooting on goal. Getting back Jones. Doesn't quite take the mark. Coming through Richardson. Sees it over the boundary line. A throw in deep inside. Claremont's attacking 50. They lead by 6 points after 12 minutes in the first term.
Subiaco under all sorts of pressure. Claremont deep in attack. Handley doing some ruck work. Stevenson wins it for Subiaco. It's not picked up cleanly by Aiden Parker. Ends up with Bristow. Hurried kick. Went past Hampson. He just couldn't quite trap it. Lee can for the Tigers. His kick brilliantly blanketed off the boot. Great work there by Rhett Kerr. Just the sort of thing that coaches love to see. The 1%ers, particularly in grand finals. A couple of rotations each. Whilst the boundary or the interchange area is beckoning. Stevenson wins a decisive tap, picked up by Franz, and that is touched off the boot. I thought it was, so it'll be a boundary throw in, again adjacent to the interchange area. So now Hildebrandt comes off and Davey on, Chris Waterman in the box. Andrews and Stevenson, both strong men. Stevenson does well to the advantage of Swift. Hand passes to Mitchell. Mitchell across his body. Phelan missed with the spoil. Wilkes was taken forward in the tackle. And Bo Wilkes, or have they got advantage? Whedon plays with advantage. Gives it to Lee, who is struck after he delivered the footy. It's a 2-on-2 in the goal square. Phelan emerges for Subiaco. Drives the ball long and wide. Claremont have got the numbers. Hughes is bundled out the way brilliantly by Laurie. Chance for Rutherford. Murphy. Hughes is hurt. It's now Laurie with the footy. Long high kick toward full forward and Wilkes. Great mark by Welks, just backing back in the pack. Vice-like hands, and his form, particularly in the second half of this season, has been outstanding.
Well, we've known him as probably played in the past predominantly as a backman, gone forward quite a bit this year, and in particular the second half of the year for Claremont. He's been a real fine forward for them, and he can be the bloke that win the game for them. He can be the difference in a game, like today.
Sorry,
There's his first.
Sorry, Phil. Couple of Subi boys look a bit sore after that last contest. Adam Cocky's just made his way to the bench, limping with a knee. And also Hughes was down over there on the ground for a bit. I think he's actually could have come into this game with a bit of a groin injury.
Just getting back to Wilkes, great courage. Back into that pack to take a solid mark. But as I said, just to reinforce what I'm talking about, I mean, he is a really, at this level, a really strong overhead player. And if he can get his hands and clunk a few forward, he could be the difference between Claremont winning and losing this game.
And I think they've made the change already. He did have Parker. They've now changed that up, and I think Randall's gone to him.
Well, I know Parker's had, as we said, some injury issues during the week. He just looks a bit ginger to me, Parker, the way he's moving at the moment.
38th goal for the season for Wilkes. Hasn't played all of them up front, but as Judgy mentioned, has had an impact when he has. Claremont forward again. Wilkes in the action. Murphy got the kick going in his direction. At the back, picked up by Richardson, lost his footing, and the footy in the process. Blackwell slides in, got a hand pass out. Bletchenden dispossessed. Whedon out to Mitchell, slammed it on the boot, out towards Phelan, paddled it back towards Bloxage, who fumbled. Now out towards Randall. He's kicked down the outer wing. Is marked by the skipper. Sweeping hand pass inboard. Finds Murphy. Does a U-turn. Goes back out towards the southern wing. And up in front, Andrews takes the mark uncontested. Inboard with the pass. He'll find the Sandover medalist in Blackwell. Blackwell comes out the broadcast wing. Bouncing footy sits up for Lee. Has a bounce immediately. Will kick long towards the top of the goal square. It's out to the right. He's got the distance, the accuracy. Not quite there. And the first behind of the afternoon, Claremont 4-1.
It's a kick from Lee, wasn't it? He's kicked that from about 60 metres out.
Good decision. Not much on for Leeds from Richardson and Jones. Went the journey just off target.
He's a talented player, very athletic. I'm just trying to think what role he's playing at the moment. He's playing more up in the midfield at the moment. The short kick in had some risks about it. Randall does well to spoil, then get possession. Then he's penalised for holding the footy. Well, Subiaco are just under siege at every turn.
Phil, this is what I saw down at Claremont Oval 2 weeks ago. The pressure, tackling, everything that Claremont did was exceptional. They were obviously all over the top of West Perth that day, and they've started exactly the same today.
Well, we had that little flurry from Subi with those couple of goals, but it's all been Claremont other than that.
Kane Mitchell goes back. As soon as it left his boot, he was not a happy man. So a couple of behinds now to the Tigers. Consecutive ones takes them to 4-2. Subiaco still sitting on those 2 goals kicked earlier by Des Headland.
Lee's the interesting one, isn't he? I think he partly wing, half forward. Just a really difficult matchup.
Well, he's been good. He's just floated up and down here. When they've won the ball, he's been an outlet out here on this side for them.
Phelan short to Davey, who's been so good in the back half of the year after making his way into the league team. He goes out wide to the back pocket and finds Bloxage. Bloxage, one of 11 Subiaco players in their first grand final this afternoon. A good effort for a side that's played in 7 of the last 9. And he kicks to a contest in the northern wing. Picked up there by Lee. Hand pass inboard to Murphy, who's got it again. Hand pass away towards Stevenson. Gave it off to Jones. He's bumped over the boundary line. We'll have a throw-in right in front of our boundary riders in Rod Willett and also Todd Ridley. Adam Cocky having some work done on his knee, just getting that restrapped, as you can see there on screen. From the throw-in, Stevenson doing the ruck work, knocked it away, crashing through Brown. He's tackled now by Bletchenden, too high. Free to the Tigers.
Once again, good attack on the ball there.
Not going to die wondering with Andrew Brown.
So Brown goes to a position behind centre. Laurie patrolling there, sends it further afield to the southern side of the ground, but Brandon Franz out there has got tons of time and room and lines up Brett Jones. Didn't endear himself to Subiaco supporters or Clancy Wheeler in the opening seconds of the game. He's found Swift into the pocket. Randall got in front of Wilkes, but Wilkes just outbodied him. Now Forrest, really indecisive, threw it onto his boot and commits the offence of kicking the ball over the line and out of bounds on the full, so nothing going right for Subi. Jerick Whedon to bring the ball back into play.
Be a chance from here, Judgy.
I reckon he would be.
Well, he's got some talent, and talented blokes can often produce miracle goals.
They lead by 14 points. Whedon, from about 45, sends it on its way across the face. The journey wasn't a real problem. Off hands, didn't find the boundary line. And now Shammer picks it up. He's walked over the boundary line by Bletchenden. And there'll be a boundary thrown at right full forward for the Tigers.
There's no doubt, Brad, we can put the mocker on anyone.
Absolutely. Lost him to the...
19 minutes have gone. There's the umpires enjoying the afternoon. Some light refreshments. Ball comes down to the front of the pack. Shammer pushed out of it by Forrest, and then the ball bounces off Forrest, goes over the line and out of bounds.
The beauty of this Claremont side is their midfield rotations, and they're working hard. Subi on Shammer, Mitchell and the like. It's Murphy, the one at the moment, who's getting a bit of football.
So the boundary throw in inside Claremont's attacking 50. Stevenson down to Gilligan. Got a hand pass away. Now Horsley under a bit of pressure. Got it out towards Davey. Oh, he's hit hard by McClernand. You never like to see that flying through with Davey having his head over the ball.
It was a bit crude.
Everyone's okay, which is the main thing. And free kick to Abe Davey. He hands it off to Phelan. Has it at half-back. Jones chasing. The runner ducks underneath it. The kick down to Broadcast swing. Brown in from the side. Spills down to Broadhurst. Gave it back to Worthington. Puts it on the boot down towards Hampson. Couldn't take the mark. Numbers with the Tigers. They all go to ground. Crawford gave it out towards Bristow. Back to Crawford. Now Jones. Hand pass in the direction of Hassett. Flying through was Crawford. He'll receive a free kick.
Two efforts there, Ken. Andrew Brown back with the flight. David Crawford back with the flight.
Oh, Hassett kicks into the man on the marking. Jones trying to knock it away. McClernand. Ball jarred free at half-back for the Tigers. Gathered by Stevenson. Gave it to Hildebrand. Now with Parker on the logo. Hand pass to Horsley. Hit hard by Jones. Ball jarred free. Parker inside 50. Out on the lead is Broadhurst. After a week off, boys, it'll be important for Blake here just to settle the nerves and get one through the big sticks early.
Well, he's a good converter usually. This should be pretty certain for him, I think, from here.
2 premierships in his 4th grand final. Blake Broadhurst pushes it across the face. And touch through off hands. Subiaco with their first behind. Claremont by 13 as we tick into time on in the first term of the 2011 WAFL Grand Final.
And Claremont with 11 inside 50. Subiaco only 4, but it's going to come back again. Make it 5. That was a terrible kick in by Lewis Stevenson, who's usually a good executor by foot. Now Kerr, a good goal scorer for Subiaco, but may just be out of his range. But he is a good kick, and they need one. The man on the mark encroaches. He was obviously called to play on. And again, this one comes off hands and has gone through for a behind. But Subiaco starting to find a bit more of the footy and perhaps get some of their confidence back. Brown makes some ground out of the goal square. Goes with a long kick to a contest. Subiaco have the numbers in the contest, but the boundary line wins out.
You can see Brett Jones, boys, enjoying the contest out there. He's being a bit of an enforcer out there at the moment. We just put Kyle Horsley on his backside there as well.
So for the boundary throw-in, Andrews to do the ruck work. Parker from the back, down to Blackwell. He's kicked straight into Phelan. Ricochets away to Parker. Clever work from Bletchenden, knocked it on to Hassett. Hand pass away to Bristow. Big tackle by Laurie. Affects the kick. It still bounces away towards his teammate in Pickett. Now with the footy is Blackwell. Got it back to Shammer. He's under more pressure than he thought. Play on is the call. Trying to get it to his boot, Worthington. Here's Broadhurst. Subi with their third. Blake Broadhurst, the Bernie Naylor medalist, missed last weekend with concussion. In his 4th grand final this afternoon, he's hit the scoreboard and becomes Subi's 2nd goal kicker, joining Des Headland, who's already got a couple.
Well, it was just sensational pressure by Subi. They just kept forcing the ball forward with just relentless pressure, and in the end it just spilled forward of the contest and Broadhurst picked up and kicked a goal. But it was just the efforts, the defensive pressure they put on there from a number of their players, Pickett, etc., on the Claremont defence, that enabled them to keep the thing moving forward, and Broadhurst got on the end to kick a goal. Well done.
Yeah, great effort by Subiaco under enormous pressure. They stood up, got a badly needed one on the board. I've noticed Michael Ricks on crutches walking the boundary line, urging his teammates on. Don't know if that's actually allowed, but he's got away with it so far. Blackwell manufactures a kick out of the middle, picked up beautifully on the burst by Richardson. Goes looking for Wilkes. There was contact high, rumbled the offender, and Bo Wilkes can line up for the quick reply. This is what you don't want to see, or at least Subiaco don't want to see. Brad is working very, very hard to kick goals and then having the reply almost instantaneous at the other end.
Poor play by Ian Richardson's opponent there. Everyone knows he's a left footer. He was always going to come inside, allowed him to hit Bo Wilkes almost lace out.
This is their 8th free kick. Subiaco have got 3. Wilkes goes back, makes absolutely no mistake. He gets his 2nd goal. And Claremont, well, they get the previous goal from Subiaco back straight away, and they go to a lead, 5 goals, 2-3-2. That's 12 points. We've played just over 24 minutes in the first.
Sandover medalist out of the centre square, and as we see him turn left there, Robbie Forrest, the opponent, and definite free kick. It's so hard when the footy comes in that quick, one-on-one, out of the cage, Ken.
Well, you just got to corral him, keep him in front of you. You can't let him turn you around. He just turned him around, Richardson. They were always in trouble once he did that.
Entertaining start. 8 goals already in the opening 25 minutes to the grand final as Andrews, leaping high, wins the tap. Down on the bottom of the pack, diving in there for Serbia was Horsley. The ball locked in.
Let's have a look at Michael Ricks. He's down there on the boundary line. He's elected not to take a seat in the stand, but he's getting as close to the action, Corbin, as he possibly can.
He did that last week as well, Phil. He's been involved a fair bit.
So running from the back was Worthington. Couldn't really get a clean knock away. Spills out there Hildebrandt. Got it on the boot. Davey, heavy sling tackle laid by Mitchell. And we'll have another bounce inside the centre circles.
A couple of really good tackles from Kane Mitchell. Fantastic to see him putting physical pressure on the opposition.
So in the outer of the 2 circles, the ball is bounced. Stevenson's doing well in the ruck. He's getting his fair share of it. Knocked it forward for Subiaco, but Mitchell in the way for the Tigers. That kick was touched off the boot, and the high tackle will go Subi's way. And Clancy Rutherford really had the head of Sean Hildebrandt wrapped up on that occasion. Hildebrandt called to play on, gets the kick away. Broadhurst on the lead, got to the front position. Crawford with him, has the ball trapped at his feet. And now it's tied up. Stevenson actually got the hand pass up to Jones. He got one out the back door to Tom Swift. From one step, Swift along the wing. Randall got alongside. Who was it? Not Richardson. I think
Foster.
it was Foster. He got alongside Foster and fisted the ball over the line and out of bounds underneath the electronic scoreboard, which shows that the Tigers are leading by 12 points.
What would you be thinking, Judgy, if you're Chris Waterman at this stage?
Oh, he'd be happy. There's a good effort. I think both sides have been pretty hard at the ball, so, you know, it's a good contest at the moment.
Andrews down to Blackwell. Mitchell, hand pass to Swift, up against the boundary line. Kicks down towards half forward. Rutherford, heavy contact from the back. Wins the footy. Hooks across the body. Bouncing ball inside his attacking 50. Out to meet it, Rumble. Gave it to Phelan. Back to Rumble. The side steps around Foster, and Rumble kicks down the outer wing. Davey, the target, up in front. Couldn't take the mark. Has been held. Free kick going the way of Abe Davey. As I mentioned, 1 of 11 in his first grand final today. The kick comes inside the middle of the ground to Bristow, to centre half forward. Couldn't take the mark, Hampson. Ball spills down to ground level. Hampson still coming through. Knocked it away to Bristow. Back to Worthington. Kicks inside 50. Crawford out to meet it. Kerr does well. Trapped the footy. Loops a hand pass over the top. Pickett in on goal. Subi bang through their 4th. Alastair Pickett, already 4 premierships in his 7th grand final, has kicked his first goal of the afternoon as we close in on quarter time.
Well, it's fair to say that when Subi have gone forward, their goals have resulted on just not so much class, but just hard work. They've just managed to force the ball forward, and it doesn't have to be special. It doesn't always have to be lace out. And it doesn't matter sometimes whether it's actually totally effective, but just keeping the ball going forward, having players working hard enough, and the last 2 goals have been a result of that, and that same thing again there.
And I think it gives the whole team a lift when Ali Pickett just chips in and kicks a goal. Playing his 205th game of WAFL footy, dual Sandover medalist, along with his 4 premierships. One of the most decorated players going around. Stevenson in ruck opposed to Andrews. They both worked very, very hard. Stevenson gets a run at this one. Picked up by Mitchell. Was he taken high? The umpire says play on. The ball appears for Bristow. Tried to hack it out of mid-air. Cleared the centre square. Picked up by Franz. He just works the ball forward. It appeared all of a sudden there for Murphy. Now they're away. Gilligan has it. Got it from Blackwell. Told by Blackwell to keep on going. Runs into a barrier there in the form of Bloxage, but delivers brilliantly almost to Jones. Jones couldn't control the mark. Knocked away from him. And now Rumble finishes off a very good bit of play poorly by kicking the ball over the line and out of bounds on the fall.
Here's Shammer with the free kick. Oh, goes over the head of Whedon. Bloxage got a hand on it, sliding in. There was Foster, but Subiaco win the day. Here's Bloxage, hands it out towards Worthington. Clever work to sell the dummy, then kick in the cocky direction. He didn't take the mark. The boundary umpire got a good view of it and slid over and out. We'll have the boundary throw in between the interchange gates. The quarter now 29 minutes old. Subiaco trail by 6 points. The boundary throw-in, Stevenson down to Blackwell, gets a kick away, bouncing footy inside the centre square, hand on it from Ruta fourth, Bloxage gave it up, here's Whedon, kicks Claremont towards the top of the goal square, Wilkes, he's got 2 already, knocked away by Randall, Rumble helps him out, Randall sees it over, another behind of the Tigers, they're 5-3, Subiaco 4-2.
Plenty of pressure, plenty of excitement as well. It's been a terrific opening quarter. Not a lot of it will be remembered, I don't think, by Clancy Wheeler. He became the first victim of the grand final. But, we'll try and get an update on him again from Rod or Todd at quarter time. Bletchenden on the end of the short pass into play. At right half back, can't be a lot of time to go. 29 and a half. From behind, Hughes flew, couldn't take the mark. Jones paddle it to the advantage of Crawford. Hurried kick landed with Hassett. Fires a hand pass off to Hughes. He was dispossessed, but then the tackle lingered. And Hughes will get the free kick. Will there be anything more forthcoming? No. High contact. Initially, Hughes was going to get the free, but it may be now. Well, Hassett thought it was his, but no, it's Danny Hughes with the free. Richardson standing the mark. Subiaco at right half back. They go short. Randall. They just need to keep possession now, Subiaco, after being rattled early. Well and truly in this game. Cousin to Cousin, Randall to Bloxage, goes with a kick for distance, almost to the half-forward line, no mark taken. The ball picked up beautifully by Pickett, feeds it to Kerr. Kerr now looking forward, maybe cocky. No, he's out-positioned, and a great mark taken by Andrew Brown. He'll be relishing these tough conditions with Andrew Brown and already making his presence felt in this grand final.
Was the acting captain last year as his side going down by a solitary point? As Brown's kick turns it over. Good mark by Worthington. He's had a bit of it in the back half of this first quarter.
Looks all right, Worthington. Goes okay.
So Worthington goes down towards the left half forward. Oh, plenty of bodies falling over. The one of them cocky in front, Headland, and decides to shepherd, leaves it for Pickett. Trying to do the miraculous from the pocket. He misses to the near side. Back to that straight kick, the margin as we close in on the first break.
Could have run all the way in there. Probably had more time and could have gone all the way in and kicked it from the square.
I am absolutely staggered that he didn't. I felt sure that that's what he was going to do, as Brown finds Murphy, and Murphy goes laterally out to Lee. He's had a good first quarter, playing a variety of roles. He's a flexible player, Lee, and now Shammer's taken the mark between left half back and left centre wing. Another short pass. It's been marked by Jones. Jones continues down the boundary line, southern side of the ground. Big punch coming from Rumble, destroys any chance that Wilkes had of marking. He was the player on the lead. Plenty of strength in that matchup. Bo Wilkes and Darren Rumble. Almost quarter time, more than 32 minutes have gone. Claremont leading. Andrews double palms the ball down to the advantage of Richardson. Blind kick goes to Bloxage. He nearly spilt the chest mark, fortunately hung on the second grab. Feeds it to Horsley. Horsley, a good searching kick. Randall on the end of that. Where does the next one go? Not a lot of actual movement. Randall gets the kick away, goes to a one-on-one. Hassett there. With him was Brett Jones. Brett Jones did well. Franz gathers the crumbs. Hand passes to Swift. Swift now goes back to the half-forward line. Horsley flew. Too many Subiaco players up. They needed one down. Shammer has the crumbs. Goes with a pass. Beautifully done to Richardson, who thought about playing on, but will go back and take his kick from 35 metres on a 45-degree angle.
Did it well, Ken, didn't he? Could have blazed away, ran a bit further, but lowered his vision, saw Richardson, probably took the picture, knew he was a left footer as well. Give him the benefit of the doubt, suit Ian Richardson to a T.
So Ian Richardson, yet to join the goal kickers list. It'll be 33 and a half minutes by the time he gets this one on its way. Comes in, in front of the most populated part of the ground and finishes it beautifully. A glorious kick by Richardson at his very best and right on the siren. The last kick of the first quarter, a goal to Ian Richardson, and the Tigers have the lead. After a very entertaining first quarter, there's Chris Waterman making his way onto the ground, but Claremont, in a fiery first quarter, have the lead. 6 goals, 3, 39 to Subiaco, 4-3, 27. The margin is 12 points. Well, 10 goals in the first quarter. Claremont have 6 of them. Subiaco 4. Grand finals are known for very fiery openings, and I think that Clancy Wheeler will have to look at the replay of this match to actually work out what happened to him. But certainly Brett Jones has taken on the role, I think either you, Brad, or Ken said it, taken on the role of an enforcer in this grand final, perhaps his last game going into retirement, but he's also done some very good things. But it really did set the standard, didn't it? Because Claremont's are determined to make their physical presence felt today.
Yeah, and I don't think there was anything untoward with it. It was a beautiful setup, I suppose, Ken. You called it for a hip and shoulder, and he hit him perfectly up and down. So nothing untoward there. And Brett Jones, he's very vocal. He's a leader on the field for both when he played at West Coast and now at Tigerland. And, yeah, arguably could be his last game today.
Yeah, with Subiaco, they just seem to be, I think, Judge, you made the point that they had to work really, really hard for their goals. They've done well to be staying in touch, but it looks almost as though at any moment Claremont could sort of really cut loose.
Well, you just feel as though they've been cleaner Claremont when they've gone forward, and they've got their goals in a much more methodical fashion. Subi, to their credit, I mean, look, you don't care how you get them, you just got to get them, and they've got them really through hard work and forcing the ball forward and making a contest, and then just knock on, surge on sort of stuff, which isn't special footy, isn't spectacular footy, but I tell you what's effective footy, and they've got results because of that. So I think Subi's efforts so far have been great. I think they've taken it right up to Claremont so far. There's no doubt that if Claremont are not going to be on their game, and I know they've got a little advantage at the moment, Subi will take it off them. So at the moment, small advantage Claremont, probably playing slightly better, but gee, I've admired the way Subi have gone about it. They've been hard at the ball, and I like it.
Terrific courage. Also, when you consider, and look, it's no secret now, I think most people at the ground know there are question marks over the fitness of Parker, Broadhurst with his concussion. Now Cocky looks a bit proppy. Certainly,
well, I think Wheeler's probably gone.
Wheeler looks as though he may be gone.
They lost Ricks a couple of weeks ago, so they've really been, they're getting stretched a bit, aren't they?
They are. Let's see if we can get an update into what's happening in both camps from Rod Willett.
Yeah, thanks very much, Phil. Well, I just had a quick word to Clancy Wheeler, and he's sort of hoping to get back on, but he still looks a little bit glassy-eyed there as well. So we'll continue to probably monitor him for the rest of the game. But I actually thought Subiaco really started well there. They started well those couple of goals, and then basically Claremont sort of took control of the game, and Subi actually did pretty well just to lock in there, score a couple of goals against the flow, and actually probably go in just a couple of goals behind. So, they lost a player early. A couple of those sore injuries obviously got targeted by Claremont, and they've come out, and there's a few limping to the bench as well, but they look like they've patched themselves up. They probably really need to come out here and score the first goal against Claremont in this second quarter. But also I think Subiaco changed their tact around. I think they got someone behind the ball there in the halfway through that first half, and that actually sort of made it and solid them up a little bit in their back half. But when they get the footy, they've got to run forward. They've got to try and break the lines of Claremont, which isn't easy to do. They've probably got a little bit more close pace, Claremont, but certainly Subi actually giving a fantastic effort at the moment. But I think it's important that they score that first goal early in this second quarter.
Yes, it certainly would give them a great fillip if they were to score the first one, particularly since Richardson got the last of the quarter right on the half-time siren. There's Des Headland. He was really on song early, didn't have a lot of touches, but just knows where to be in the right place to get the football, kicking one there after a very, very good mark. And this is the best of them. You see him in the clinches here, and how quickly he assesses the situation and gets it onto his boot with players all around him. he steers it through. That was a terrific goal, perhaps the goal of the match so far by Des Headland, and wouldn't Subiaco like to get the ball more regularly into his hands?
They would, and as we said during the call, he's going to take a good player. I think at the moment he's got David Crawford, who's a bit of a swingman for the Tigers, but another goal would see that have to be under question, Ken, I think, with 2 or 3.
Yeah, look, he's a good player. He's a good player, Headland, and they just need to try and get the ball to Headland a bit more often, and perhaps, as I said, in a bit more methodical fashion.
Let's just check up on the goal scorers in that first quarter. As I mentioned, there were 10 goal scorers all up, but the Tigers had the bulk of them. Wilkes 2, singles to Richardson, right on the siren, Foster, Gilligan and Whedon, and for Subiaco 2 quick ones to Des Headland, and then Ali Pickett and Blake Broadhurst with the singles. Looking at the chief possession getters, Murphy, well, he just gets amongst the possessions every week. He's had 10 in the first quarter, Blackwell 7 as you would expect. Lee was very good, had half a dozen. Swift busy with 7 possessions, Mitchell likewise, and Byron Shammer had half a dozen. And you look at Subiaco, well, Bristow, he was in it from the very get-go. He's had 11 possessions and 2 marks. Bloxy's playing across half-back, 3 marks and half a dozen possessions. And Rhett Kerr also getting amongst them as well. If you look at the quarter-by-quarter, the quarter-time stats collectively, 62 and 51 kicks. Let's go down to the Simon McPhee with Todd Ridley.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Simon, the scene was set earlier. Big hit by Brett Jones and Andrew Brown, a smother, and then back into the pack. The boys have come to play.
Yeah, it was pretty pleasing, mate. We attacked the contest pretty hard, attacked the ball pretty well, so we're pretty pleased with the way we started.
Now, a couple of years ago, you didn't score in the first quarter. This was not a bad start compared to that.
Yeah, look, as I said, really, it doesn't really concern me. What concerned me is the fact that they started well. Probably Subiaco got a couple of their goals a little bit easy for me, so that's something we need to look at this quarter.
No injury concerns?
No, we're fine.
Beautiful. Good luck, mate. Back to you, Phil.
Simon McPhee downstairs speaking with Todd Ridley, the coach of the Claremont Football Club, and they lead by 12 points, courtesy of a goal to Ian Richardson right on the quarter-time siren. Now the crowd up around the 14,000 mark, which from memory was pretty similar to the 2007 grand final, the last time that these two teams met on the WAFL showcase fixture, and the 3rd time in 8 years. And it'll be umpire McPhee to get us going in his first grand final, the first time since 07 we got an umpire on debut on this day. Here's Andrews, handed it out towards Mitchell, knocked away towards Horsley though. Subiaco away down the outer wing as Horsley kicks inside 50 for the Lions. Broadhurst up in front, couldn't take the mark, spills down at the back to Brown. His hand pass partially chopped off by Broadhurst. Ball out of bounds, we'll have a throw in. David Crawford sees it over, the man on screen moments ago. Played in 4 losing grand finals.
No holding!
We're hoping he can taste some premiership success later today as Andrews knocks it away. Coming through his blockage, wasn't able to pick it up, tapped on by Blackwell. Hampson slides in, got a hand pass away. Here's Bletchenden, just wanted it the most. Got a kick going goalward, but he's off target. He's missed the lot out towards the right, out of bounds on the full. No change to the score in the opening 60 seconds. The Tigers by 12.
Despite the breeze looking like it's blowing the opposite direction, the ball's carrying really well down there. We've seen Richardson kick it long, Lee kick it long, and then that one out of the pack.
Crawford goes for distance. Stevenson gets rid of Andrews. The ball's picked up though by Lee. Gives a nice little hand pass to Brett Jones on the burst. Delivers along the boundary line, but Rumble gets right up alongside Chad Jones and destroys the ball over the line. It must be gusting a bit, Brad, because one of the flags on the top of the scoreboard's disappeared.
Have to go down to our trusty boundary riders to get right down deep in that pocket where Todd Ridley did some of his best work.
Thanks, Brad. But you're right, it's gusting all over the place. You can score both ends.
Hassett won the tap, the 3rd man up, taken by Mitchell. The hurried kick across his body lands in the arms of Randall. So Subiaco still trying to find a way to score the first goal of this quarter. Randall goes down the wing. The ball does hold up a little bit on that occasion. Lee went up. Mitchell could have done a bit better. Bletchen got a hand pass to Davey. Davey then on to Bristow. Bristow got a hand pass over his head. He got it into the hands of Stevenson, who just dribbled it off the end of his boot, and there'll be a boundary throw in. Oh, the flag's back. What happened to it, Corbin?
Oh, I thought the irony wasn't lost to me when you said one of the flags had gone. I thought it might have been the Claremont one. So.
And it was.
It was.
It's back.
Good to see it's back.
That's the real key.
Where has it come from, Lemmy?
I don't know.
It wasn't there a second ago.
It was not.
Kevin Sheedy had it.
Someone's wound it down and wound it back up again. Now, there's an infringement coming out of that ruck contest, and Stevenson, who's really rucked manfully since having to step up in the absence of Clancy Wheeler, has got the free kick on centre wing.
So
it's been good.
Stevenson kicks down towards right half forward. Up is Lee. Only Claremont players involved. He's knocked it away from his own teammate in Mitchell. The ball's out of bounds. There's Tom Lee, played in the reserves premiership last year. And the Claremont reserves going back to back, winning earlier this afternoon by 20 points.
It was a very entertaining game too, Corbin.
Over Perth. Finished 1-2 in the regular season. And yesterday morning it was South defeating Claremont and the Colts. For the boundary throw-in, here's Pickett. Got a hand pass away. Shammer offloads straight to Bristow though, kicks inside 50 for Subi, clean bowls Hampson and also Broadhurst at the back curve, fighting on, gets a hand pass away, sliding in Rutherford out towards Headland, a chance for his third. He's wrong side of the post. A minor score, very, very close. Des Headland from getting 3 in early stages, second term.
That would have brought the house down. The kicking's a good one. It goes to Lee. He had Subiaco players converging on him, but Lee did well. And now all too easily he's able to find Andrews. Now to Murphy, caught. Does he get a hand pass away? Not before the whistle. It was a good tackle by Bletchenden, one of the features of his play. So Bletchenden with a well-earned free kick finds Bristow, who's ever so busy, must be up to around about 13 or 14 now. Hand pass not good, sold Bletchenden into bother. Here's a chance again for Stevenson. Hand pass straight to his opposite number. Now he's in all sorts of trouble. Still no clear possession. It stands for Kerr to get the possession, then use it pretty well. Hampson got pushed out of it. Pickett couldn't pick it up cleanly. He really needed to. Franz taken in a tackle. Stevenson put to the ground. Good aggressive work inside attacking 50 by the Lions.
Good aggressive work. Yeah. It's fantastic forward line pressure.
Pressure. Fantastic pressure.
I think it's better when they play Ali Pickett a little bit more up on that half forward so he can hit the packs hard. He's hard to catch up to.
So a bounce inside Subi's attacking 50. Andrews wins the tap. Here's Blackwell, top of his defensive goal square. Hands it off. Taken high. Free kick to Murphy. Missed the second semi-final with suspension. 50 metres. Yeah, 50-metre penalty, as you heard here from the umpire McPhee. Abe Davey giving it away, just knocking Kane Mitchell down in the goal square.
That is unforgivable.
Clear it out.
Well, it is in a game like this.
It is, Ken, because it just takes them further up the ground and they're away here.
As Murphy kicks towards the outer wing, picked up by Brown. He goes inside 50, looking to try and find Foster and Phelan floating across in front. Knocks it away and out of bounds.
Thanks, mate.
I'm not going to go on about it, but it's unforgivable.
It is. It must be that that goal square, isn't that the one the Carlton fellow did at the Jack Darling?
Yeah, and there was a Valentine issue there, I think, at one point as well. Ball comes down to Bristow, managed to get it to his boot, just a hacking kick along the boundary line. Mitchell's there for the Tigers, keeps the ball alive with a hand pass to open space. Now Andrew Brown swoops on it. Good searching kick across the centres, found Swift, goes by left boot to the lead of Jerrick Whedon on the dive, takes the mark on his chest. No, it was touched in flight. The umpire is going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He didn't hear it. I'm not too sure if that's the actual rule. Robbie Forrest was over the top of him. There's the touch right there after it left the boot of Swift.
No hold.
So umpire Hendry will bounce it down 53 metres out from Claremont's goal. Stevenson got a fist to it, didn't travel very far. Bristow in there, busy again, but it was Blackwell who got it out to Swift. That's holding the ball for an illegal disposal. Bristow with the advantage, none there. So the free kick will go back to the tackler, Ben Randall. Gee, the tackling and ferocity is still there.
Is up. It's actually lifted in this quarter.
Yeah,
and Claremont's got to be able to go with that because at the moment they're just a bit panicky, Claremont.
Randall, usually a good user of the footy, and finds Kerr, who's had a real impact since coming off the bench. Uses it very short, pitches in front of Bristow. Now he's caught and holding the ball. Not too sure about that decision. Going to go the way of Shammer. He was the tackler, goes for distance, well inside attacking 50, big pack. Kerr lurking at ground level, hand pass to Randall. Very, very good decision by Randall to go with the short option, find Bristow, swings it into the corridor. Hildebrand, not the right option, went short. Stevenson under all sorts of pressure, dispossessed. Handley taps it into the path of Rutherford across his body, didn't travel the required distance. Swift went over the top of Bloxage, got into his back. Subiaco supporters saw it in great numbers, but not umpire Hendry, and he'll ball it up between the centre and our broadcast wing.
Time for someone to put, time for Claremont to put someone on Bristow. He's just getting too much footy, too much uncontested footy.
Bounce isn't a great one. Going up was Handley, didn't get a hand on it. Falls down to Horsley. Hand pass in the centre of the ground, finds Kerr. Kerr puts the lines inside 50. Broadhurst the target. Couldn't take the mark. Knocked away by Crawford. That was unusual. Brown picked up at the top of the goal square and popped it through for a goal. Wrong end. A rush behind. And they'll move it quickly, Claremont, down the outer side as Rutherford with it. Kicks down the outer wing, looking to try and find Wilkes. Didn't take the mark, but followed up his own footy. Wilkes looking to try and find Weirden inside the centre circles. Whedon gathers, now kicks towards centre half forward for the Tigers. He's turned it over, straight to Parker.
I must tell you, Chad Jones has been ordinary so far. Has been very ordinary. That's an ordinary effort as well. You just can't make contact coming past like that.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cheap shot. Well, I'm sure that Simon McPhee will get the message out to him. Now, the free kick with Parker, he's got Rhett Kerr. Well, this is the way he's coming. Right out to Rhett Kerr, who's been finding space regularly for Subiaco. Not too sure that Claremont have decided who's actually responsible for him. In the end, it's a wasted kick. Coming across the bows of Hampson was Jess Laurie taking a very good saving mark. Terrific grand final. Laurie looking for Chad Jones, knocked away from him. Rumble has the crumbs, steadies, goes short, finds Cocky. Can he find the target? Goes inside 50. Murphy, a lunging effort was fantastic. Knocked the ball to the ground. Claremont player tried to come through. Brown got a hand pass, intercepted by Broadhurst. Socket off the ground by Cocky. Helped through the goals with the left boot of Ali Pickett, and Ali's got two. Well, again, it was an enormous amount of hard work by Subiaco. Scratching and scraping and biting. They just out-weathered Claremont under those conditions and was able, with a couple of horrible little hacking kicks. The third of them was the one that got through from Ali Pickett, and Subiaco within a goal.
Well, yeah, again, that's classical of how they got their last three goals, Subi. It's just been really hard work, put serious pressure on the opposition, just force them into error, knock on surge on, keep the ball going forward, and guess what? At the end of the day, someone bobs out the other end of it and picks it up and kicks a goal, and that's happened again there. So
Rod Willett will be happy because they took them 9.5 minutes, but they got the first goal.
Stevenson to do the ruck work. He wins the tap down towards Horsley. In fact, it was Worthington in the centre, having a stint in the ruck now.
Trinity Handley's gone into the ruck for Claremont.
So the margin less than a goal, as Lammy mentioned, the closest it's been since the 10-minute mark of the first term. We're at the same stage of the second quarter as Handley flying through, got a hand on it, and here's Bletchenden, feeds a hand pass looking for Hampson, turned it over, Mitchell puts it on the boot, only as far as Bloxage, hands it back towards Horsley, Horsley kicks to the outer wing, and here's Hildebrand, the 09 best and fairest winner, couple of premierships already with the Lions, and he goes down the wing to Bletchenden again. In his second year of senior footy with the Lions, Bletchenden out towards left half forward, looking to try and find Hampson, floating across for the Tigers is Foster. Hand pass out of his defensive 50 to Mitchell. Mitchell by hand to Shammer. Back to Mitchell. Hands it out wide, looking for Rutherford. Run down by Hildebrand. Ball jarred free. Shammer gives it back to Mitchell. Mitchell kicks in the direction of Whedon. Boundary line close. Whedon wants to keep it inside the field of play. Tackled by Parker. Umpire Hendry calls for a bounce.
I think Subi just got Claremont off the pace a bit here at the moment. They've been pretty hard at him, and they've just got him a bit unsettled, I reckon.
Yep, they've been spectacularly hard at it, I think. Handley and Ruck opposed to Worthington. Two pinch hitters. Worthington got the kick away from the contest. Foster went in, was taken high. Just went to his knees and almost demanded high contact, Andrew Foster. Daisy cutter, bounces off the chest of Jerick Whedon, regathers the footy, gets a kick away, and it was pretty well weighted. Hits Shammer, he hits the ground running, delivers to Wilkes, and Big Chief Bo Wilkes has taken the mark in the right full forward pocket, 30 metres out. Now he's trying to con the umpire with the angle here. He's going to end up pretty close to the boundary line.
He's going to kick this from right in front of the race where the Eagles used to exit the training field. He spent a bit of time at West Coast. He would have had a lot of shots from this area.
You'd say so.
He would know it well. Bo Wilkes from the pocket sends it on its way. It's close. He loves it. Practice makes perfect. Bo Wilkes has done that before. And the Claremont strongman has now got his third. He's got 3 out of 7. Claremont 7-3-45, 10 points ahead of Subiaco 5-5-35.
Well, you just felt that they needed to get that, Claremont, because I reckon Subi just, as I said, just got them off the bit a bit at the moment, and because they've been really physical and hard with them, and you just felt that Subi were just starting to arrest the ascendancy a little bit, and just to get that one back is just a handy one, probably against the flow of the game, really.
Good move by Simon McPhee. Andrew Foster into the middle of the ground, been involved in the last couple of forward thrusts. A few old heads, Byron Shammer, Foster, Wilkes, just settling the nerves down.
7th time he's kicked 3 goals or more in a game, Bo Wilkes, this season. Played 20, or this is his 20th game of the year. A push against Andrews.
It wasn't a great bounce by the umpire, but gee, Andrews' efforts were pretty average.
Stevenson out wide with the kick. He finds Broadhurst leading a long way up the ground, too far from goal. He's around now, caught to play on. Just kicks and hopes inside 50. Hughes trying to work his way to the front. Couldn't take the mark. Bristow head over it. The Tigers through Murphy, but to Pickett. He picks up at half forward, top of the goal square. Davey can't take the mark, slips out the back to Lee. Lee gets the kick to half back, and Foster's got it again. Loops a hand pass over the top to Gilligan, trying to evade Phelan, does well to get around him. Then the kick inboard, makes it tough for Swift. Doesn't take the mark, he's outnumbered as well. Blocks it, feeds it out to Hildebrand, who kept his feet. Back to Randall, kicks down looking for Hampson. Numbers with Subi. Bletchenden gets a hand pass away. Rutherford crashing, or rather Murphy crashing through for the Tigers. No free kick.
Not high?
Ooh, just a tad.
You can't burrow your head in, though. Just umpires have got to look at this.
You're actually allowed to pick the ball up, you know. When it's at your feet, you're allowed to pick it up.
It's not the first time it's happened, though. A lot of players burrow in looking for the free kick now.
So the bounce.
I think Rod's wearing his colours there on his sleeve.
Andrews knocks it away inside the circles. Here's Bristow. Just kicks out towards the outer wing. Not necessarily by design. As Hughes knocks Laurie away from it. Picked up by Laurie's teammate, though, in Mitchell. And here's Jess Laurie in the action. The boy from Denmark gathers the footy up against the boundary line. Kicks deep inside the 50, looking to try and find Wilkes. At the back, could bounce through. Oh, that would have been a remarkable goal. And it's hit the post. And a minor score for the Tigers. They're 7-4. Subiaco are 5-5-35. The margin back to 11 points. The 15-minute mark of this second term.
Still a quality grand final as Phelan has the ball in the goal square for Subiaco. And just at the moment searching for options. Nothing really stands out, so he kicks it to a contest, and Stevenson's going to get the free kick here. They've got the advantage. Swift elects to go long and high. Rumble from behind the puncher. Forrest paddles the ball out to the boundary line. Abe Davey has to turn around and chase it. Mitchell gets there first for the Tigers. Kicks from right on the boundary line. Goes for the goal square. Gilligan's taken the mark. Hand pass off to Shammer, and this will be a piece of cake. Shammer slams it through, and Claremont have got another one. Subiaco coach Chris Waterman feeling the pinch just at the moment. That was a soft goal. And Claremont move out to 8 goals for Subi 5-5.
It was good play by Kane Mitchell. Could have had a shot and blazed away, but did the unselfish thing, the team thing, and the thing that will win grand finals. Centred the footy. Really good play by Gilligan. Could have gone back and kicked it himself, but made the soda to Byron Shammer, who's been pretty good. Him and Foster in the last couple of minutes, about 5 minutes of play, have been outstanding in stemming the tide for the Tigers.
Biggest margin of the afternoon so far, out to 17 points now, Claremont. At the 16-minute mark of the second term, they're the best second quarter team in the competition. Bounce back in the centre, a little bit errant as well, and the umpire to call for it back. A rare blemish from umpire Stuart Parry. He was named the umpire of the year, the Montgomery medalist, back on Monday night. The 4th time that he's won that honour. Officiating with Scott McPhee and Craig Hendry today. As Stevenson wins the tap in the centre, down to Bletchenden, slams it on the boot, bouncing footy out in front of Hampson. And running with him is also Stevenson. Hand pass back inboard to Jones. Jones thought about going by hand. Perfect kick. Along the boundary line, he finds his teammate in Swift. Swift gives it back to Jones. Jones's kick untidy, floating up towards Richardson. Bloxage couldn't take the mark. Here's Parker. Kicks in front of the interchange gates, looking for Bletchenden. Swift with it, tackled and dispossessed. Jones couldn't quite get his hand to it, then knocks it into open space. Hassett coming through for the Lions. Big tackle laid by McLernan. Ball jarred free, out of bounds. And we'll have a throw in front of the Subiaco interchange. What do you make of it all, Brad?
Tigers just too good at the moment. Subiaco's pressure's been outstanding, but how long can they sustain it?
Free kick spotted here from the boundary throw-in, and free kick going the way of Claremont. It'll be taken by Mitch Andrews.
Well, you've got to get a reward for the effort, and you can work hard and work hard and work hard, but if you don't get the scoreboard pressure on, eventually your efforts drop away, and that's the key thing. And it's fair to say that Claremont's goal scoring has become much more methodically, as I said earlier, than Subi. Subi, you'd have to work really hard to score theirs.
Andrews sends them forward again. Ball off hands, reading it where he should have been was Richardson. Goes with the centering kick to the top of the square. Beautifully weighted for Bo Wilkes. Nothing much that Darren Rumble could do about that. That was an A-class kick from Ian Richardson.
Well, just a kick to advantage. Great kick to advantage by Richardson. He could have easily had a shot.
Yep.
And unselfishly kicked to Wilkes. Kick to his advantage, and Wilkes is marked and a chance to convert, kick his fourth.
Well, 4 goals inside the first half will be a great effort by Bo Wilkes. He certainly puts it home. So the Tigers really starting to blow the lead out now. Subiaco need to find answers, and find answers quickly, because 9-4-58 to 5-5-35. The margin is 23 points, but it's in danger of going beyond that rather rapidly.
Well, we spoke about Chad Jones, didn't we, being the spearhead and a previous Bernie Naylor medalist, but this is the man, as we watch Richardson do the team thing again, a great kick to advantage to Big Bowie Wilkes, who can play at either end, has been a revelation up forward and has taken the pressure off the Tigers when Chad was coming back from that hamstring off the bone. But 4 goals to half-time, just on the 10 minutes left in the second quarter, has been outstanding.
Ben Randall, another one of the Subi players, just getting some attention at the moment, getting his ankle restrapped, should be back on shortly.
Free kick here to help out Subiaco. Centre square infringement going the way of the Lions, and Horsley to take it. The favourite, you'd think, to win their best and fairest, seconded to Sandover on Monday night. Horsley out to Hassett. His old club, Port Melbourne, looking to break their premiership drought today in the VFL Grand Final against Williamstown. They're undefeated.
They've actually won.
Oh, well, thanks, Jed. Yeah, so that's great for Port Melbourne.
56 points they won by.
Over Williamstown today, stacked with Western Bulldogs players as Subi go inside 50 and find Stevenson. So breaks a 29-year drought. They were there in 08. Hassett played in that game, and
and undefeated premiers. Yep. So fair effort. I know, speaking to Peter German during the week, who was coaching Williamstown, the ex-Subi coach, he thought they were a real chance to cause an upset and beat them today, but they've gone down by 56 points. So he'd be disappointed with that result, Germo. But well done to Gary Ayres in Port.
And Paddy Hassett hoping he can join his old mates with a premiership today. They need a goal here. Stevenson settles and kicks truly. Subi with their 6th.
Fair to say they needed that, Corbin, but been really impressed with Stevenson's final series. He was really good against South Fremantle in the first semi-final. Last week in difficult conditions was thrown into the ruck a couple of times, and today, as we know, has gone straight in for the first half due to the injury to Wheeler. But good play by the Bernie Naylor medalist here in Broadhurst to get back off the mark. Knew he was too far out, got back off the mark really quickly, and a good finish from Stevenson.
Yeah, well, they need to kick consecutive goals, I think, Brad. They've got it back to 19 points.
17.
17, I beg your pardon. Back, well, 21 minutes have gone in the quarter, so if they can get another one before half-time, they'd be pretty well pleased. Andrews, though, aided by the bounce, gives it a good thump. Phelan traps it, shovels it out the back door. It goes to Shammer, however, throws it onto his left boot, curls it around his body. Diving effort from Richardson, unsuccessful. Handley picks it up and throws it onto his boot. Off the side it goes. Toward right half forward. Rumble attacked the ball hard. Now he goes through and picks it up. Hand passes to Bristow. Well done, Rumble. Now it goes to Hildebrand. Hildebrand, a driving kick to Hughes. They'd really like to get a lot more from Danny Hughes. He's marked it close to the boundary line on centre wing. Squaring kick for Headland. Contact after he marked, but it was all incidental. Headland short to Abe Davey. Goes to centre half forward. Gee, it wasn't a great kick. It allowed Lee to come over the top and spoil. Bloxage got it to Headland, punts it high up forward. Big pack. Alistair Pickett, was he held without it? Play on's the call. Bristow there as well, but Stevenson for Claremont got the hand pass to Crawford, then to Rutherford. Claremont out of trouble, maybe. No. The Rutherford kick was ill-directed and Bloxage has taken it. Hand pass to Horsley from the point of the centre square. Just out of reach of Cocky. He took it on the half volley. Gets up running, or attempts to run, but is then tripped and goes over the line and out of bounds. So boundary throw in at left full forward, or between left full forward and left half forward for the Lions. 22 and a half gone. Andrews palms it down, beautifully rode by Bristow, gets around Mitchell. No, he didn't. Mitchell's tackle hung on. Chad Jones was dispossessed, then that tackle lingered. They've got the advantage. Swift gives it to Franz, back to Swift off the side of the boot. It goes to Bloxage. Here it comes again for the Lions, into the pocket. They need a mark here, but they're hard to get inside their attacking 50. Headland was the target. Big collision. Some of the contact was high, and the free kick will be going the way of David Crawford, right full back for Claremont.
So Crawford kicks across the goal face, and he'll find Jess Laurie, played in last year's devastating 1-point loss, as he kicks out in the direction of Franz. Can't quite take the mark with Hassett coming over the top, and the ball's out of bounds.
Good spoil by Hassett there not to give away a free kick.
Notice Chad Jones, guys, been thrown really just for a bit of a run, just to try and get him in the game. At the moment he's around this stoppage, and he could be in the action here as Andrews got a hand on the ball, down to Horsley, gets it out to Hassett, kicks inside 50. Hassett flattened after he kicked, and it'll be a free kick inside 50, a relay free kick. Hughes going to Danny Hughes. Danny Hughes played all 22 games this year with Subiaco. It's been a real find since coming off the Melbourne list. Spent 4 years in the AFL system. For a couple of games last year, a tough angle from out here. He's got the distance, but missed to the near side. Another behind to Subiaco.
Was there a bit of a cloud over his fitness as well, Judgy? Hughes, did I hear?
I didn't hear as much about him as the others we were speaking about earlier.
Stevenson finds Rutherford, the skipper for the Tigers. Goes with a high kick out towards centre wing. Foster was the target. He's met by Forrest. Crawford got a hand pass off to Foster, then got it back again. Creative hand pass forward of the play now to Shammer. Deft little left foot pass onto the chest of Richardson, too far out to score. He has got a thumping kick and an accurate one. Called to play on. Bristow came in from behind him. One-handed effort by Handley and a very ultra-defensive effort by Bloxage to bring up a rush behind.
Phil, we've got Chad Jones on the boundary getting a bit of treatment on his left hamstring. I've been told by the physio that's just precautionary. He should be right to come back on.
And Brett Jones has just sprinted back onto the ground.
Chris Phelan with the footy. Goes to the pocket, or missed the target in Hildebrand. And the ball bounces out of bounds. And luckily Hildebrand got a touch on it before it slipped over. And we'll have a throw-in.
Boys, Clancy Wheeler just going through another series of tests at the moment to try and get him back on.
Hasn't been decided since the second minute of this game, as Parker wins the tap down to Davey. Kick back towards the corridor. Worthington had over the footy and had Shammer fall into his back, so a free kick to Scott Worthington.
There is Clancy Wheeler with some patchwork up on his nose.
Worthington, a lad from the Goldfields, kicks out the half back. And marking here is Hildebrand. Sean Hildebrand in his 4th grand final, kicks into oncoming traffic, and Mitchell. Ball ricochets down to Bristow. Untidy kick down the line. Spills to Laurie, gave it to Blackwell. Kick inside 50 for the Tigers. Wilkes gets free again and takes the mark. Slightly left of centre, no more than 30 metres out. He's got 4 already, and closing in here for his 5th as we approach half-time.
Well, as I said earlier in the game, this bloke could be the difference in the result. And right at the moment,
he is.
He is, exactly. He's just too strong in the air.
Well, he got rid of Darren Rumble just so easily then in that contest.
So Wilkes on his way in, starts it out to the right. He can't bring it back. And a minor score. A rare blemish on his afternoon so far.
Yeah, well, one of the easiest of the shots he's had. Corbin. He really should have nailed that. That's a bit disappointing for the Tigers. Would have put Subiaco under enormous pressure. Phelan a much better kick in on this occasion. Blackwell crumbs it cleverly. Thought about the hand pass, nearly went over the line and out of bounds, but he throws it onto his right boot, keeps it in play. Foster will be paid the mark or the free kick. It's the free. They've got the advantage. It goes to Trinity Handley, and there's the goal. It almost seemed inevitable that it was going to come, and it came at the 27.5-minute mark of the quarter. Trinity Handley gets his first for the afternoon, and now Claremont 10 goals 6 to Subi 6-6. The margin a straight 4 goals.
Kane Mitchell's just gone down the race as well. I'll let you know what's happening there. But he didn't seem too concerned, because as this goal went through from Trinity Handley, he's turned around and punched the air. So I'll let you know about that one.
Thanks,
yeah, well,
Todd.
good effort there. I mean, it was a free kick to Foster anyhow, and they just took the advantage. I must say that when he took it and played on, I thought mate, might have been better off letting Foster have a shot, but he straightened up and kicked the goal. So good finish, 4-goal lead. They just, as I said, they just score their goals a bit easier, Claremont.
Kicked 5 of the last 7. The biggest lead of the day is now 24 points in favour of the Tigers. Kick comes out to the broadcast wing, picked up by Swift. Hampson tried to run him down. Swift managed to follow up. Kicks inside 50 for the Tigers. Getting back, Phelan couldn't take the mark. Richardson in the pocket. Off balance. He sprays it off the boot. Out of bounds on the full.
Kane Mitchell has got a rib problem, but I'll have a look into it at half-time, let you know more about it.
He might prefer the doctor, Todd.
Come right around.
Yes, Phil.
Coach Chris Waterman on screen a short time ago in his first grand final. As I mentioned a short time ago, the biggest deficit so far for the Lions. Taking a long time, Phil, and they bring the footy back into play. And he has to kick to a contest. Stevenson up from the back, couldn't take the mark. Ball handed away there by Kerr, out wide, knocked on by Hassett. Hampson gets an unkind bounce. Going through for the Tigers is Murphy. Does well to get it to boot. Bouncing footy out in front of Forrest. Oh, Bristow had over the ball. Richardson threw in the other direction. Held in. Will have a bounce at left half forward for the Tigers.
Last couple of forward entries, sorry, Judgy. Foster's just been on his own.
Yeah.
Twice. He's such a dangerous player. Surely a Subiaco defender just goes and mans up on him all day.
So a bounce, only one ruckman there. And that's Stevenson, just knocks it away. Worthington picks up the footy, keeps his feet and does well. Kicks down the broadcast wing, in front is Lee. He marks for the Tigers. Tom Lee runs around, managed to sidestep Broadhurst, then kick inside 50. Forrest from the back, thumped away, out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in as we approach half-time. The Tigers by 24.
All right, Chad Jones is back on. Trinity Handley having a well-earned breather. He's taken a turn on the ball. So Simon McPhee has thrown his players around to considerable effect in this first half. Andrews, their number 1 ruckman, wins it. Abe Davey just caresses the ball over the line and out of bounds. So very close to half-time. Rod Willett has got one of the stories of the week, a look at the 2011 Sandover Medal night. He was there working the floor, as he does. Boundary throw in. Andrews, sharked by Hampson, gets a short hand pass off to Davey, cross his body. Diving on the football there was Headland, couldn't contain it, nor could he contain that man there in Tom Lee. Spirals the ball up towards centre half board. Now the whistle had already gone. It's going to be a Richardson free kick. And just going on Bo Wilkes' last set shot at goal, they might be very, very happy for it to be in the hands of Ian Richardson. There is the contact from Robbie Forrest, draping a hand over the shoulder. The mark was taken in any case by Wilkes, but it's Richardson who's going to line up for his second and Claremont's 11th. And he has really sent the goal umpire hard to his left. They are 2 pretty bad misses. They really could have almost had Subiaco put away.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Lammy. There's a couple of opportunities gone begging there for Claremont. Go in at six goals in front at half-time. Handy break in a grand final.
And characteristic from Richardson. Usually he's trademarked from the said shoulders. That's not a great kick from Phelan. Ball spills down towards Shammer. Hand pass away towards Weirden. The ball out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. $25 points. Claremont 10-7-67. Subiaco 6-6-42. A crowd of now almost 15,500 at Subiaco Oval. For the boundary throw-in, Stevenson got a touch on it, down towards Horsley. Gets a hand pass away. Murphy head over the ball. Was taken high. A free kick.
He's been good, Murphy.
He's been really good.
He's been really good.
Another chance for a forward thrust here for the Tigers as we approach the half-time siren. Looking for Wilkes. Couldn't take the mark. Foster slides in. Got it out to Shammer. And that is half-time in the 2011 WAFL Grand Final. And Claremont lead by 25 points, the biggest margin of the afternoon so far. They outscored Subiaco 4-2 in that second term. It's Claremont 10-7-67, Subiaco 6-6-42.
Steadies, goes short, finds Cocky. Can he find the target? Goes inside 50. Murphy, a lunging effort was fantastic. Knocked the ball to the ground. Claremont player tried to come through. Brown got a hand pass, intercepted by Broadhurst. Socket off the ground by Cocky. Helped through the goals with the left boot of Ali Pickett, and Ali's got two. To go long and high. Rumble from behind the puncher. Forrest paddles the ball out to the boundary line. Abe Davey has to turn around and chase it. Mitchell gets there first for the Tigers. Kicks from right on the boundary line. Goes for the goal square. Gilligan's taken the mark. Hand pass off to Shammer. Yes, a 4-2 second quarter there by the Tigers, but they really did dominate and really asserted their authority in general play, and they hold a very, very handy 25-point lead going into the long break. Subi got the first goal, took a fair while, but after that it just seemed to me that Claremont were continuing to flex their muscles and get a little bit more of a hold on this game the longer that second quarter went.
Well, the thing, as I've said a few times, Subi's goals have come as a result of really hard work. It hasn't sort of been flowing sort of footy, and they've worked hard, and that's fantastic, and we really admire their endeavours so far. You just sense when Claremont go forward with Wilkes' presence down forward there, they look dangerous. I agree, Foster was starting to get free again in that quarter as well. If he gets free as well, there's going to be some real serious pressure on the defence of Subiaco. Claremont just, to me, look a more polished side. Subi's endeavours are keeping them sort of within touch, but probably not maybe close enough to win the game. As like I said, they'd need a major lift somewhere, and I can't quite see where that's going to come from for them.
I agree, and their defence has been outstanding to get them to this stage, but they are under real siege and under real pressure. The Rumbles, the Randalls, Parker's come in a little underdone and probably looks a little underdone today, but I just think the floodgates may open in the second half on a pretty good day. You know, pretty warm out there, and I think the floodgates could open in the second half. Yeah, Subiaco certainly have been stretched. Let's have a look at the goal scorers list up to half-time. And of course, Bo Wilkes has been the standout. He has kicked 4 goals and probably, well, should have had 5. Richardson, Foster, Gilligan, Handley, Shammer and Whedon have all been contributors with 1 apiece. And for Subiaco, Ali Pickett and Des Headland, they're 2 veterans with 2 goals each, Stevenson and Broadhurst. And there are the quarter-by-quarters. We can see it was 12 points to the Tigers at quarter time, and they have more than doubled that to lead now by 25 points going into the long break. OK, well, time for half-time at the footy. One of the real highlights of any football season, of course, is the Sandover medal count and presentation. This year it was held on Monday night. Luke Blackwell went into the count as pretty much the raging favourite. Rod Willett, as always, was there with a cameraman in tow, worked the floor absolutely beautiful, and brings us now the story of the Sandover medal.
Hello, and welcome to the 2011 Sandover Medal Presentation Night. A night of celebration where the who's who of WA football gather together in the lead up for this year's WAFL Grand Final.
It's a night for the players to let their hair down and their partners to take centre stage. The Sandover Medal Night is a night to honour past and current winners and welcome them into the Sandover Medal Club. Matty, the Sandover Medal Night, and you're winner of the Sandover Medal. What's one of the great things about coming back tonight?
I think it's just reinforces how big a night it is and how much of an honour it is to win the medal. Seeing guys like the Walkers and Polly Farmer and these sort of guys, it's just reinforces how big it is.
Barry, did you see the same feelings of the winning the medal when you were the crown the Sandover Medal yourself?
Yes, you always feel a little bit apprehensive, and only because everybody's talking about it, and young Black will be under the same pressure tonight, because only he's more so, because he looks like he's about 100 to 1 on, so he's going to be a bit shaky there for a while. but let's hope he wins it because everybody's picked him, so we just hope that he comes in right.
Winning the Sandover medal is one of the greatest honours in football. What has it meant to you over the years?
I guess when you come back to these evenings, you think about the day that you won it, and probably that you are down in WA football history is probably the most significant thing that I think about.
Jackson, winning the Sandover medal is one of the most greatest honours in football. What does it mean to you now?
Yeah, no, I really am thrilled to be a past winner because it gives me a great opportunity to mingle with some of our absolute champions, to have the likes of Barry Cable and possibly, Graham Farmer wandering around in your company is just, it's a bit surreal sometimes when you look around and see some of the champions that you're mingling with.
Before the count has even got underway, one of the hot favourites for the night, Blake Broadhurst, has already taken out the Bernie Naylor medal for the leading goal kicker of the season, with an impressive 68 goals for the home and away season. When the count got underway, it didn't take long to see who was in the hunt for this year's Sandover medal.
Subiaco, Jason Bristow, 4 votes, and East Perth, Josh Smith, 5 votes.
The first 10 rounds saw Claremont's Luke Blackwell, East Fremantle's Rory O'Brien, and Subiaco's Kyle Horsley vying for early honours. But at round 11, it was the Tigers' Luke Blackwell, who had taken the lead with 11 points after 5 best on grounds.
And Claremont, Luke Blackwell, 5 votes.
Rory, you're leading the votes for East Fremantle. Are you surprised about that?
Yeah, a little bit surprised. A few boys, Jamie McNamara and Kobe, I thought we would have polled a few more at this stage of the game.
How do you poll for the rest of the night? Do you remember?
Look, I think it's a shaky end of our season. We got a bit pretty rocky, so anything will be a bonus.
Luke, you're in the lead. Are you surprised you voted so well?
Yeah, a little bit. That middle part of the season, it's hard to remember looking back on games and remember how well you played and how well you didn't play. So, yeah, a little bit surprised how well I played in that middle rounds there.
Are you confident you think you can win?
I think Kyle Horsley has a great second half of the year, so I expect him to come home and win it. What do you reckon?
Mate, I reckon you're okay. You might be home. When the count resumed, it became very clear that Luke Blackwell's outstanding season was set to continue.
From the Claremont Football Club, Luke Blackwell.
I now have great pleasure on behalf of the Sandover family in presenting you with the Sandover Medal for 2011.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Sandover family and Ian for presenting me the medal, and yeah, I said it's a great honour and yeah, something I'll definitely cherish for the rest of my life.
Kyle, runner-up, how are you feeling?
Yeah, a bit surprised, mate. I honestly didn't think I was any chance. I thought Rixie and Bristow and Brody were polled a bit better, but well done to Blackie. He's had a fantastic year and well deserved.
Horsley polled 33 votes in 9 rounds with 4 best-on-ground performances, while third place Rory O'Brien polled 32 votes in 10 rounds with 2 best-on-grounds. A proud father was there to take part in the celebrations.
Oh, listen, I'm rapt for him. I'm really rapt for him. We love him.
It's been a fairy tale end to the year for Luke after being runner-up last year and third the year before. He won this year's count with 42 votes and 11 votes over his nearest rival.
Luke, a rich family history in football. How does this rate?
Yeah, pretty high. It's obviously probably one of the biggest honours in WAFL footy, or the biggest honour. So yeah, I'm absolutely stoked. But yeah, grand final this weekend and can't wait for that really.
Third 3 years ago, second last year, and now winner. What does it mean?
It means a hell of a lot. Yeah, it's probably third and second. It's probably sitting there watching the other blokes get it. It probably makes it a little bit special because you appreciate how much they enjoyed it, and now I get to probably enjoy it myself. Thinking about this Sunday too much.
With his football future assured, Luke Blackwell now joins an elite list of WAFL legends. And that was the 2011 Sandover Medal presentation. Congratulations to Luke Blackwell, a worthy winner. He now cements his name in football history.
Yes, well done to Luke Blackwell. Congratulations. A terrific year he's had. He's having a pretty good game here this afternoon as well for Tigers in the 2011 Grand Final. Well done to Rod Willett and cameraman Ricky for the terrific effort bringing that to us. Well, don't forget there is one more episode of Mangrock to be shown this week on ABC2, Thursday night at 7:30, and what a list of special guests we have to round off this season. Michael O'Loughlin, Gavin Wanganeen, Kevin Sheedy, Adam Goods and Brett Kirk will be all on the panel as guests, and the music performances will be performed by Dan Sultan, the Bull Sisters and Buzz and Doc from the Angels. Well, time now to have a look at some of the real highlights of the 2011 season. We're going to start with some of the goals of the year. We're going to start with the marks of the year. And there have been some outstanding marks. Each and every week we get treated to some real aerial highlights. And here's a look at some of the better marks in season 2011.
Possession to Stevenson. He's right up and right half forward now. Stevenson delivers into the pocket and Brabbers on a slips catch. He hooks it high and wide. What a mark to save! Takes the mark of the day. What a screamer. McLeod goes out to the halfback. What a great ride out there. And that has got to be a mark. It is. Good mark to take in the ground. Saunders.
He looked up the middle. McGunwa
in for the side. Wheeler. Good mark. Indicates he wants to go long. And then he goes short and goes very poorly short. Hanson has taken the mark. Can't be long to go in the quarter. Oh, the one-hander taken by Cole Reevy. Edlin reels in a one-hander, plays on immediately. They know each other's game pretty well. And Pike's taking a great juggling mark. Oh, great mark, reeled in out there by Cocky. He just shows some real class there, Stephen Gilio. Delivers beautifully as well, the lead from Pierce. Plenty of Falcons there. Mark out there by... Nice it is. Chip pass, Pryor. Oh, there's the mark of the season.
Yes, we'll try and pick a winner out of all that lot. Some terrific marks there, and equally there have been some wonderful goals kicked throughout the course of this year, and let's reflect back on some of the better ones.
On his chest as he goes inside 50, looking for Broadhurst. Weller out in front, got hands on it. Broadhurst from the pocket, bends it back beautifully.
Here's Gapen who beautifully dribbles it through. Igio chases well. Head now is a left footer. He'll straighten them up and go to the goal square. But he goes through the goals. That's a great long goal by Head.
To down Gilligan, fleet of foot through the traffic into the path of Bruin. Traps an awkward bounce pretty well at shoulder height. And away he goes. Two bounces. Derek's outside him. Should goal here, Claremont. And they hit the front.
Hanson, he gathers it in nicely though. Check side kick, could bounce, close, it's gone through. Fantastic. What a goal to Ash Hanson. Now Hallett tries the Dacossian snap to the goal line and gets it through. A good hand pass from Horton to Leeson, who's having some sort of a first quarter. Kicks from the goal scoring pocket and threads it through. Now Lyson is there. Gathers the footy. He can snap on goal here, Lyson. Look at that snapshot. Had it, lost it, but got from his knees. Been sensational. Got it off to Marston. Tackled as he kicks, but it's a great looking kick. Gives it to the speedy Lewis Broom. Broom to the call of Gilligan. Now Gilligan on the burst. Jackie giving chase. Broom gives him a great shepherd. Now Jackie can control it. Run in, draw the player. Hand pass over to Jones. And Chad Jones, who's kicked now 5 goals for the day.
Oh, very good bounce for Moody. Big turning circle. No elevation, but his clean ball works.
Now he's a left footer. He'll look to try and centre this, or he can run close enough to check side through, and does. Healy and Rumble and Healy. Healy lost it. Oh, then cleverly paddles the ball. This should be a goal. Running into the open goal is young Warren. The late solid shepherd there by Mitchell. Mixes it up. Here's a chance now for Lee, who's been pretty good today. The youngster for Claremont. Onto the right foot. Oh, snaps a magnificent major.
Was Mellington. Here comes Striker's almost moving too fast. Gathers. Flying shot on goal. There's the goal of the day. On to Wolf, who can go very short, find a target in Seal. He plays on for 47, blazes an open square.
Gives the hand pass to the speed to Roach. Roach now takes a bounce, loves to back himself in, across the ground with a foot pass. Could be a late goal coming up here for Swan Districts because Roberts is in a lot of space. Hand pass to Hinkley. There will be a score coming up. Hinkley from 35 metres is kicked straight.
Then a rolling ball. Adams again, brilliantly the best. So this will be his 30th possession from 48. This is a wonderful effort.
Good pass to Lee in the centre of the ground. He goes very wide, almost laterally. to Moss, who's got an acre out on the wing. He runs to half forward. No one running at him. He's 55 metres out. Long kick to the goal square. In fact, the drift's back. Flips one up from the sitting position and finds Headland. Headland thought about a kick. He thought, no, I'm going to take head on. Away goes the veteran. Showing head a clean pair of heels. This is something out of the box. Headland gets to 50. Long shot on goal. Don't tell me that's the goal of the game.
Andrews won the tap and dispossessed. Tregear in the pocket. Snaps on goal for the Falcons.
Steps in front of Possum, brushes aside then Davey, shoots from the pocket. What an inspirational goal!
Swan in the box seat. Play fisted over the back. Hunt looking for the boundary line. Did he find it? No. Seal kept it in. Back for Swan. What can he conjure? Something miraculous! No! Michael Swan has kicked one of the goals of the season.
Yes, it has been a season full of some feats of sheer brilliance, and it's been a very tough and uncompromising first half in the 2011 Grand Final. Full of highlights, and let's have a look at some of the real highlight packages of this first half with Corbin Middlemass.
Thanks very much, Phil. And 25 points is the margin here at half-time. As you can see there, Hassett is getting the kick going forward, and this was resulting in Subiaco's first goal of that second term, or the first goal of Subiaco for the afternoon. Des Headland kicking that goal there for Subiaco. And Subi, they were able to jump out to a 6-point lead after conceding the first goal, and Claremont from that point onwards were able to compose themselves and then start to kick away. Jones, clever hands there over the top to Gilligan, and he was able to bang through Claremont's second of the afternoon. Subiaco again looking to try and get a couple back right before that break, and Brad Weir, they were able to get the margin in within 12 points at quarter time.
They were, and their pressure was fantastic, and we spoke about not only their forward line pressure but their pressure all over the ground. The question is now, how long can they sustain that? We saw some cracks start to appear just before half time, but in the first quarter and then again early in the second quarter, they were fantastic.
Judgy looking at that second term, Subiaco able to kick the first goal off the rally picket, as you can see there, but from that point onwards, Claremont able to compose themselves, and they kicked 4 of the last 5 goals in that second quarter to now lead by 25 points.
Yeah, well, you're right there, and look, the thing is, Claremont's just got their goals in a much easier fashion, the way I look at it so far. I mean, yes, Subi, as I said, their endeavours have been great, and we've got to admire those, but how much longer can they continue to have that sort of endeavour and not have the scoreboard pressure put on? If they don't put the scoreboard pressure on, inevitably the intensity drops off, and that's where Claremont can get hold of them.
And Trinity Hanley there kicking the last goal of that half, and Claremont leading by 25 points, 10-7-67 to Subiaco, 6-6-42. After leading by 12 points at quarter time, Claremont now out to a 25-point lead.
Yes, and Byron Sham has been very busy, particularly in that quarter. He's had 15 possessions and kicked a goal. Tom Swift with 14, 7 kicks and 4 goals, 1 to Bo Wilkes and 5 very strong marks. Murphy's been busy with 14, as has Mitchell. Tom Lee's been outstanding. Clancy Rutherford, solid as always, and Blackwell maybe a little bit down on his normal form, but he's carrying that Sandover medal around his neck, don't forget. Bristow's been outstanding for Subiaco with 20 possessions. Bloxage has worked hard, as has Kerr, had a good second quarter. Horsley 14, Hildebrand 10. Bletchinen's done some very, very good hard work inside, and Broadhurst, just the 1 goal won. Hopefully he can find the big target a bit more in this final quarter, and Van Randall's been solid across half back. Well, the weight of kicks, nothing much in the handballs. The inside 50s is the big one though, 35 inside 50s to Claremont and just 22 for Subiaco, and that's taken its toll a bit, Brad and Ken.
It has, and we spoke about the Subiaco defence, Ken, and they've been really good, the 3 talls down there, to get their side here. I just think the number of inside 50s today and their finals campaign, for want of a better description, will get hold of them in the second half.
Yeah, well, look, you'd like to be in Claremont's position at this stage. I mean, Subi have got to do something, and you know, as I said, I don't think it's anything to do with their endeavours, because their endeavours have been unquestioned so far in the first half. Where do they get a spark from to win the game for them? Does it come from someone like Des Headland? But they've got to try to get the ball into their forward 50 in a more efficient manner to enable someone like that to have an impact. If they can't do that, it's going to be difficult for them to get back into the game, and the only way you can see it is that perhaps Claremont going away further in this game.
OK, let's go down to the boundary line where Rod Willett and Todd Ridley are.
Yes, thanks very much, Phil. Well, just quickly on the conditions, it's actually warmed up quite a bit down here on ground level, and also that wind's also got a little bit stronger as well. But at the moment, you know, Claremont going along beautifully. And what can Chris Waterman probably do to change it around? Bo Wilkes obviously getting plenty of it. They're getting the ball out of the middle a fair bit too. But what I can tell you about Subiaco, Clancy Wheeler, well, I'm not sure they're actually willing to risk him. There's been a lot of talk in the papers about head injuries and all that sort of stuff over the last few weeks, so they may not take a risk with him. Adam Cocky spent a lot of time in the forward pocket. His knee looks like it's a little bit sus as well. It's been restrapped. Ben Randall has had an ankle restrapped down in the rooms, and also Aidan Parker had some ice as well. So going to be tough for Subi to get back into this game, but their endeavour's been fantastic.
Yeah, Subi have been fantastic, Rod, but I think they may have run a race. A couple of hard weeks, tough game last week. Chad Jones should be okay. He had a bit of treatment on his hamstring just in that second quarter there. And the only worry really is Kane Mitchell. Had a bit of a jab in his ribs, but he played with that in the second quarter, so he'll be fine to hopefully come back out and lead Claremont to another premiership.
Good on you, boys. Thanks very much for the update. And what that tells me is that Subiaco have got some major problems with their fitness, which under these conditions is going to be a very tall order for them going forward in this game.
Well, it is, and you know they're playing their third final. As I said, Claremont have had a week off. They should be a bit fresher. It's a tough ask. You know, they're down one less on the bench, maybe a couple of suspect players on the ground. It's a tough ask. Look, you can't question their endeavours, Subi. As I said, I just wonder that they mightn't just run out of some steam somewhere here.
And in an area that's so important, in their ruck, they lose their ruckman. Claremont's one-wood is their on-ball brigade. You know, it is a really tough ask.
Subiaco, they've won twice. Well, firstly, before that, we'll go downstairs. The Claremont bench.
Yes, thanks. We've got Swift, Shammer, Whedon and Franz all starting on the bench.
Thanks to Todd Ridley, taking care of the Tigers this afternoon. Subiaco, they've won 5 times this year, trailing at half-time, while Claremont have gone on to win 14 out of their 16 while leading. It's the Tigers by 25 in the 2011 Grand Final. Second half underway. Horsley got a hand pass away. Murphy jumps on top of it. Eventually tried to flick it out to Mitchell. He's tackled. We'll have another bounce.
Gee, was that a good bounce from the umpire then?
Let's go to Rod Willett with Subi's bench.
Yeah, a little bit of news here, boys. We've got Reece Bletchend and Clancy Willis still on. I don't think he's going to come back. Alistair Pickett. And the latest news is Ben Randall still in the rooms getting that ankle strapped at the moment. So Subi on the bench with 3 men.
He's feeling with the footy. Got it to hand pass out towards Bloxage. Kicks to right half forward. Broadhurst the target. Crawford coming through from the back. Tried to soccer it away. Jones hit on Kerr. Just bounced away. He tried to get a hand pass going to Headland. Traps the footy on ground level. Flicked it out towards Hughes. Hughes gets a hand pass back to Phelan. Went one-handed. Follows up to give it back to Horsley. They're retreating here, the Lions. Horsley kicks inside 50. Hassett running back with the flight. Dropping the mark was Brown. Boundary line beats them both. We'll have a boundary throw in. And left half forward for the Lions.
Kyle Horsley, 21 possessions or 20 at half time. 1 already. Heavy tag. He's been really, really good for Subi.
So Subi had a great year.
Yeah, has he ever. Runner-up in the Brownlow medal, Andrews. Gives it down to Blackwell.
The Brownlow.
Oh, the Sandover.
He has had a good year.
I was going to say, he's had a wonderful year. He's got votes in both comps.
I've let it out of the bag now. It was going to be a surprise. No, it would have been, but Blackwell just taking in that tackle by Cocky. One of his real strengths, Adam Cocky. He only had a split second, Blackwell, to get rid of it. So very important kick, this one, to bring the margin back to 19 points. Would be a great start by Subi. They just need to keep on staying in touch with Claremont. Cocky passes the 50, starts it out very, very right. It stays out there, and a minor score only to bring the margin back to 24 points.
We saw him during the second quarter come out on a lead a couple of times. He's not right. His knee is causing him
he looked a bit proppy
concern.
coming in then to kick, didn't he?
So Brown kicks to himself and plays on. A long kick towards half-back. In best position, Foster takes the mark. He was about 3 deep, and then he was slung to ground by Stevenson. That'll be 50.
I tell you what, he motioned then Foster to hand that off. I know he didn't, and the player in anticipation tackled him, a bit stiff.
Andrew Foster, great effort on Monday night. He only played 12 games in the home and away season and polled 24 votes to finish 9th in the Sandover as he kicks inside the forward pocket. Wilkes the target. Hampson swung into defence. Hand pass out to Bloxage. Squeezes a kick close to the boundary line to Bristow. Loops a hand pass over to Worthington. Back to Bristow. Look away hand pass straight to Gilligan of the Tigers. Here's Andrews. Kicks Claremont inside 50. Standing underneath it. Handley takes an uncontested mark. 30 out, slightly right of centre.
Well, you just wonder how he could be standing in that position on the ground. There's a bit of luck involved, but he's standing there and the ball's up in his lap and no one was even within 20 metres of him.
Rod Willett on the boundary.
Yeah, well, there's a pretty sad look on Ben Randall's face there. He's got that right ankle all strapped up with ice, so you'd probably think that he won't be back this afternoon. So him gone, Clancy Wheeler gone. Going to be really tough for Subi with only 2 left on the bench.
And Handley on his way in to kick the first goal of the second half. The Tigers push the margin out to 30 points. Claremont moved to 11-7-73. Subiaco is 6-7-43. And Trinity Handley kicks his second of the afternoon.
Well, he's such a versatile player. Trinity Handley had a year off last year and missed the defeat against Swan Districts. But, Judgy, we spoke about Andrew Foster in the second quarter being out on his own all the time. Subiaco defenders, it's unforgivable to allow a player like that. Quick kick in from the big ruckman. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he was actually trying to pass it, but it was just a quick kick in. Not a defender within QE of him.
Absolutely right. And the ball had a lot of hang time, so players had a chance to get to him if they could have, but they weren't close enough.
Yeah, and it resulted in a goal. Stevenson rucks well for Subiaco, getting there first. Richardson, hand pass to Blackwell, gets another hand pass off to the run of Brett Jones, fires one over the top to Murphy. This is ominous looking play by Claremont, and there it is, even more ominous, just plucking it out of the air after once again getting rid of his opponent is Bo Wilkes. Unstoppable at the moment, Claremont, and once it gets anywhere near Bo Wilkes, you can just see he's just got rid of Darren Rumble there, who's a tough opponent by anyone's standards, but just no match for Wilkes, who comes in, shoots at his fifth. He's pushed it and pushed it well across the face. Just managed to sneak through for a behind. Well, he could have easily kicked 6 goals.
Well, yeah, and he could have easily put this game out of Subi's reach with those couple of efforts. I mean, all of a sudden it could have been a 40-point lead, or over 40 points instead of it being a 31-point lead.
Scott Worthington called now to play on. Long kick towards half-back for the Lions. Oh, working his way to the front. Andrews takes a good mark. Andrews lays it off by hand. A Sandover medalist in Blackwell kicks back inside 50. They come from all directions. Spills down to Foster. Hands it off to Gilligan. Gilligan tackled, dispossessed, and threw it out according to the umpire. A free kick to the Lions. See on the replay there, just had his arm held by Bloxage in a superb tackle. Subi working it around the defensive 50. Hildebrandt off to Hughes. Hughes to centre half back and finds Stevenson. Stevenson to Horsley. Horsley by hand out in front of Hughes. He's got an option short in Hampson. He'll use him now. Hampson on the outer wing. Sidesteps around Laurie. Feeds a hand pass forward to Kerr. Kerr running out of options. Gets a kick away in the direction of Cocky. The ball will sit for him on a tough angle. Cocky from the boundary across the face. A minor score.
Gee, I think there was a centering option on there.
There was 2, Phil.
I was being kind.
Brett Jones told Adam Cocky all about it.
Yes, he had Hassett and may have even been Headland in the corridor there. He had a shot on goal. Would have been okay if it went through. Now the ball back in Claremont hands. Andrew Brown urged by the umpire to get on with it. Uncontested mark taken by McClernon. Hugging the boundary line. Stevenson, a good overhead mark, wants to play on quickly. Claremont just tightening the screws. Rumble leads Wilkes to the footy, but elects to go the punch. Wilkes applies a big tackle. Gets the player out the way, but Forrest is there for Subiaco. Missed kick bounced right into the solar plexus of Crawford. Hand pass to Rutherford, one on to Blackwell.
A runner in the way.
Was
And
it high?
A free kick going to go the way of Subiaco.
Hey? The Claremont runner was just in the way as the kick came through.
Okay, so Headland, that's something starting to go the way of Subiaco. Hassett, hand pass to Stevenson, been one of their best. Goes to Kerr, feeds one more hand pass on to Headland, breaks a tackle, lines them up with the left boot, and Des Headland's got his third. Well, again, a very, very hard-working goal by Subiaco, but one that they desperately needed. Just clinging on to Claremont at the moment. Just through dogged determination, the margin is back to 4 straight goals.
Well, they have, and in actual fact, what Claremont got caught out there because their players all thought it was a free kick for them, and they actually were all running offensively.
Yep.
The kick went the opposite way. None of us sort of noticed it or picked it up what it was for, and Subi got them going back the other way. So handy goal to Subi, keeps them within touch. But again, it's hard work. Most of their goals are coming as a result of.
Well, the game needed that. Des Headland kicks a goal for Subi. They're back within 24 points. They'll need a couple here to stay with the Tigers. Already 2 down on the interchange and a couple more carrying injuries. The bounce, a little errant, so we'll do that again. Umpire Scott McPhee in his first grand final this afternoon, along with Craig Hendry and Stuart Parry officiating. From the bounce, Claremont get a little kick away through Mitchell. Oh, barely 15. The mark paid. Here's Gilligan. He'll kick out towards right half forward. His target, Wilkes. He's got it again. 4 goals, 2 this afternoon for Bo Wilkes. And he's been the dominant figure inside Claremont's forward 50.
I reckon he might have tweaked a hammy then, Gilligan, when he hit Bo Wilkes lace out. Straight off, clutching the left hamstring.
We'll get an update shortly as Wilkes' kick is on the way, close to the left-hand goalpost, wrong side of the stick. So after being 4 straight, he's kicked 3 behinds in a row by Wilkes. Margin back to 25 in favour of Claremont.
Quick kick in by Worthington. Mark has been taken at full stretch by Hughes. Just in the growing shadows of the 3-tier stand down the western end of the ground. Kicks over the contest. Tidying up at the back of the pack is Crawford. Thumping kick back into the pocket. Big pack. Worthington leaves it for Parker. To Forrest. He hand passes to Hughes. Hughes now looks for a target. Decides on Hampson. And that's the way the kick goes. Just behind right centre wing. Hampson goes long, looking for Cocky. Whedon gets in the way. Cocky puts a fist into it, close to the boundary line, and it goes over.
Inside 50 is now 41 to 25.
Yep. There's not a lot that Subiaco can do about it at the moment. They just need to start winning the ball from the stoppages, getting their hands on the ball more. That thump from Stevenson goes back over the line.
Well, they've done well, Subi, to be this close, I think, because they've really they've been up against it with the loss early of Wheeler.
Chris Waterman, still plenty of hope up there. Andrews got the knock and collected the ball himself. That's always a dangerous practice, but it wasn't continuous, so the umpire let it go, and now umpire Parry will ball it up.
Phil, we've got a few of the Claremont boys off, just getting a bit of a rub. Gilligan, Stevenson and Richardson, but they're all okay, just cramping up. I think the bigger ground, a bit heavier out there at the moment, but just using their rotations well.
Stevenson and Andrews to do the ruck work. Andrews got Betts purchase on it, down to Swift. Kick looking for Lee, not able to take it cleanly. Here's Forrest, gets a kick going back in the other direction. Being held in the marking contest, free kick going the way of Des Headland. The goal kicker from moments ago. He's got 3 already this afternoon. Des kicks long inside 50. Another free kick, a push this time. It's going Claremont's way.
Against Broadhurst.
Franz to take it across the goal face. He finds Laurie. Laurie chips short. Murphy lays it off to Brown. Brown out of his defensive 50 to Chad Jones. Been quiet this afternoon. Kicks down the boundary line. In front is Foster. Couldn't take the mark. At the back, Bloxage sees it over. We'll have a boundary throw in.
Des Headland's kicked on his left a lot today, hasn't he?
He's deciding to kick on his left. It's obviously an indication that his right leg is just not up to it.
Brett Kerr takes a seat. Horsley checks back in for the Lions. Here's Phelan. It's a look away hand pass going straight to a Claremont player. Umpire almost in the road. Stevenson to Swift. Now with Blackwell. Blackwell kicks in the direction of Rutherford. Trapped the footy. Couldn't take it. Murphy's hand pass straight to Davey. Gang tackled and dispossessed. Now Headland coming through. Couldn't pick it up cleanly. Weirden has his head over the footy, but the Lions win the battle. Here's Forrest. Gave it off to Hildebrand. He's penalised. Tackled immediately by Stevenson. Free kick to the Tigers. Diving across Headland. That's okay, says the umpire. Stevenson regathers. Kicks across the centre square to McLernan. McLernan towards half forward looking for Richardson. Pushed off it by Horsley. Horsley gathers in the back pocket. Untidy centering pass to Stevenson. Now Bristow. Hand pass out to Hampson. Hampson in trouble. Tackled. Holding the ball. Brett Jones can settle. Misses to the right. Probably had more time than he thought. Claremont by 26. 13 minutes into the third term.
Bo Wilkes, the tackler. Not only has he kicked 4 goals, 3 and been the target, but putting the forward line pressure on.
Yes, Hampson did some good things for Subiaco last week, but he's just found the tempo a little bit beyond him this afternoon. Certainly a player of the future, however. Rumble, gee, that was a centimetre perfect kick right onto the boundary line to find Parker. He was standing on the chalk. Goes back to Bloxage. Finds Worthington. Still at right half back. Long way from home. Forrest. Just can't get any fluency in their play at the moment, Subiaco. Rumble is available. Now at centre half back. Continuing short. Hughes has it. Now the hand pass. Chance for Kyle Horsley. He likes to run and bounce the footy. Tom Swift giving chase. Horsley, beautiful pass there, and on the end of it, as if on cue, is young George Hampson. Pops it onto the right boot, gives it to Broadhurst, I should say, and Blake Broadhurst needs to go back and kick this one for Subiaco.
Horsley just continues to run, doesn't he? He was down in the back pocket defending. Second phase run, third phase run, then has the composure to, hit the target up.
Very strong player. There goes the clip from Blake Broadhurst. He's put it through. So Subiaco just keep on keeping on. 2 goals to Broadhurst. He's come into the grand final under a bit of an injury cloud, but playing with a lot of courage. And that was clever play there by George Hampson, I thought. He just showed a cool head then, Brad, and was able to find their main spearhead.
He did, and you said earlier on he was very, very good last week, but has struggled a little bit. And we spoke about this man on screen, his ability to run the lines and run and carry. Really good by Hampson here. Gets back quickly off the mark, has the composure, hits the Bernie Naylor medalist lace out.
Phil, I can just tell you at the moment, Subiaco are about to roll the dice. They put Clancy Wheeler back onto full forward, hoping to generate a couple of goals. So big risk, let's hope he gets the footy.
Des Hedland having a breather there, as you can see on screen. Here's Swift, hand pass away to Mitchell, high up and under kick. Oh, only as far as Bloxage at centre half back. Thought he was going to keep going straight through Gilligan for a moment. He flares it out wide to Hildebrandt. Short pass. Here's Bristow.
I tell you what, they won't go away, Subi. They're hanging in.
Bristow to Bletchenden. Leads up and marks in front of Whedon. Had another good year in his second year at Subiaco in their league side. There's Bletchenden. Just bombs it long towards centre half forward. They need a mark. Well, hits Wheeler in the back of the head. That's something he didn't need. Here's Andrews. Hand pass away towards trying to find Blackwell, but Bristow got it. Gave it back to Wheeler. Kicked up in the air. Now it falls out towards Swift. Swift to Laurie by hand. Laurie chips out looking for Shammer. Horsley reels in the one-hander. Horsley now kicks inside 50 looking for Bristow. Jones puts him to ground. Bristow free kick.
I can tell you, I don't want to put words into your mouth, Brad, but Bristow's just about best on ground today.
Bristow blazes away, right on cue. Out of bounds on the full. The commentator's curse.
His disposal lets him down occasionally.
He's one of 8 players to have played every game this year for Subiaco. All 22. The Lions in within 20 points here. They've kicked the last couple.
Crawford with the left boot. Gives it plenty. At the back of the pack, Chad Jones. Just read it better in flight. Took the mark on his chest in the end. So it goes down the southern wing. Wilkes works his way to the front and holds the mark. Again, we just keep on saying it. Like I sound like a broken record, but just that strength to get into the right position, hold position, keep his opponents at bay, and let his strong hands do the rest. He finds Blackwell with a short pass.
Speaking of best men on the ground.
Yeah, well, had he kicked straight, Bo Wilkes,
they'd be engraving it now.
He probably just about. So Swift has taken a mark low down. Claremont just intent at the moment to keep the ball away from Subiaco. Now they're at the 50 almost, unattended, not for the first time in this quarter. Trinity Hanley without an opponent's taking the mark. Wheels around on the right boot from 60 metres. A towering kick. Rumble is back there. He puts the fist into it. I don't think it was ever on target. It was a good-looking kick by Trinity Hanley, but a rush behind to Claremont.
You called it, Phil. Unmarked again, inside 50. Subiaco defenders with some work to do.
Darren Rumble. Bring the footy back into play. Called now to play on. Gilligan runs towards him. Rumble goes long towards half-back. In from the side, Worthington. Couldn't mark. Spills down to Blackwell. Puts Claremont back inside 50. Gilligan the target here. Rumble across in front. Punches it out of bounds. Darren Rumble and Alistair Pickett looking for their 5th premiership this afternoon. They'll become the 30.
It's a hard day at the office, Rumble, playing on Wilkes.
If Subiaco can peg back this margin and go on to win this afternoon, they'll become the 34th and 35th players to have won 5 or more premierships in the WAFL. Here's Hampson. Hand pass away towards Horsley, trying to get away from Swift. No easy task. He then gets his kick away, looking to try and find Broadhurst. Out to meet it was Brown. Mitchell had it knocked clear of him. He'll get it back from Blackwell. Mitchell's hand pass out wide, looking to try and find Stevenson. Snaps across the body. Handley across in front. Couldn't take the mark. Follows up with a second effort. Dragged off it by Davey. Now with Forrest trying to clear his defensive 50. Only as far as Blackwell. Centering pass. The skipper's got it. Clancy Rutherford.
Well, unselfish play there from Blackwell and good vision.
Clancy Rutherford in his 3rd grand final. 170th WAFL appearance this afternoon.
And final. Retired early in the week. Told his teammates.
So Rutherford kicking from just inside the 50. Kicks on its way. Looks good off the boat. The big high five as well from Clancy Rutherford. And the Tigers continue to push the margin out. It's now 27 points as we're about to tick into time on in the 3rd term of the WAFL Grand Final.
Well, again to Subi's credit, you just feel as though Claremont look as though they're going to start to really stretch them, and Subi just show great character and they hang in. Interesting stage now, late in the 3rd quarter, or 2/3 of the way through the 3rd quarter. Subi need to try and certainly maintain their attacking endeavours for the rest of this quarter, because now's about the time when games can just start to slip right away from you.
Yep, that red time can become very expensive. Chris Waterman would be well aware of that. So Subiaco, they really need to start, well, they need to win this ball away from the centre. Headland in ruck, can you believe it? Going into this grand final, you would never have thought of it. Horsley socketed it, then got it back. Chips a hand pass off to Hassett. Under pressure, goes with the left boot. Hughes underneath it, couldn't take the mark. Laurie got a hand in there. Now Hughes gathers the footy. Hand passes to Phelan. Phelan's a good kick. He shoots from long range, brings it back, but not enough, not in time, or did he? No, he was celebrating. And it's gone the wrong side of the post. Goal umpire had a very good look at it, so the minor score only. Gee, Subiaco, they would have enjoyed that one. Stevenson in from the goal square, kicks it out to Shammer. Shammer with Pickett to beat, was able to do that. Went short looking for Swift, blocks it over the top, got a hand on it. He gathers it and fires it to Cocky by hand. Now to Des Headland. Onto his preferred left boot, as it turns out today. Bletchenden gets the crumbs. Mitchell leads with his head, dives on the footy. Hand passes toward the call of Gilligan. He pops the hand pass back into the fray. Bit of aerial ping pong. Rutherford tried to emerge, couldn't. Crawford was held, maybe without it, no. Mitchell has the footy, spirals it forward. Coming out to meet it was Rumble. Hand pass from Rumble to Hassett, who finds a little bit of time and space. Looks downfield, kicks to the lead of Broadhurst. Over the top of him, Laurie did the spoiling. Crumbing it there is Shammer. Claremont out of trouble as Shammer has been able to find Tom Swift, forward of left centre wing.
So Swift puts the Tigers inside 50. One bounce out in front of Foster. Foster looking for Richardson. Oh, hit hard by Cocky. Just crunches him from the side, holding the ball. And Cocky just giving him a little bit of push on his way up as well. He'll take the free kick and back to the top of the defensive goal square. Now with Bloxage across the goal face again. The last line of defence. Here's Aidan Parker. Parker's short pass to Worthington. Low down takes the mark. 27 points at the moment. Margin has been out as much as 30 points in this final term. Worthington's kick out wide. Now with Bletchenden, hand pass over the top to Hughes. Heavy tackle by Chad Jones, holding the ball.
It's a great tackle. Been critical of him a bit today, Judgy. That's been pretty good by him.
Jones lays it off to Blackwell, goes inside 50, backing back Forrest, got a hand on it, slips out the back of the pack. Parker should get there first, the Subiaco captain. Oh, Swift got rid of Bloxage. Now gets a hand pass over the top towards Forrest. Forrest short, finds Wheeler. Pretty good effort to be back out there after being crunched by Jones in the opening couple of seconds. He's kicked down the wing. Good mark by Hildebrandt. I want to get the maximum from this forward thrust. Hildebrandt gets a hand pass away to Kerr. Inboard to Broadhurst. Broadhurst goes long. Pickett his target. Stevenson, the taller man, outmarks him. 50 metres as well against Ali Pickett. So Stevenson will be marched to centre-half back to take his kick.
Well, when you're kicking in high, hoping for Ali Pickett to take the overhead mark, it's not going to work.
No, not when the bloke on you is a foot taller.
Stevenson was that man. He finds Lee, drills a pass short to Andrew Brown, to Whedon. Nearly had his pants pulled down, but releases a hand pass. Falling over there was Brett Jones. He was just going too fast for his own good. Applying a good tackle there was Foster. Gets a hand pass out. Subiaco players get there in numbers. One of them, Bristow, perhaps their best today. Wobbles a kick forward. Falls just a little bit awkwardly for Rutherford. Great hand pass from Hampson.
Oh,
he got
out
out to Stevenson. Short to Pickett. He's better in situations like that, but his kick was blanketed. Oh, Jake Murphy takes one high from Des Headland. Clyde McClellan comes in. That was a little bit crass by Des. Murphy is down, and Des Headland's name is going to go into the notebook.
Bit reckless.
Well, he nearly got the footy, Des Headland. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Judgy?
Yeah, look, I think Headland was going for the ball, to be honest.
Yeah, look, Ken, I think you're right there. Desi's not that sort of player. He actually got his hands on the ball. Unfortunately for Jake Murphy, he was just on the end of it.
Yeah, look, he's gone to bend over. There's two blokes going for the ball there. Yeah, bit stiff. I mean, unfortunate for Murphy, but I didn't actually think that Headland was doing any other than trying to get the ball.
Now Murphy's in a bit of bother. His legs have gone from underneath him after that collision. So that's a sad end, probably a sad end to his day, because Jake Murphy was an outstanding contributor. He comes to the sidelines and justifiably earns the applause from his fans, members and fans. He doesn't look too well at the moment, Corbin.
Stevenson, long kick inside 50. They come from all directions. The ball falls down to Whedon. Snaps on goal. Misses. Another behind. Claremont the 12-12. Subiaco 8-9. Jake Murphy on the interchange. That hit from Headland a short time ago. Des Headland on report. The Lions having already lost Randall this afternoon. Clancy Wheeler come back on after being involved in a heavy collision with Brett Jones earlier. Here's Stevenson. Kicks inside the centre square. Stretching forward is Broadhurst, a long way from goal. There's Blake Broadhurst, goes towards the outer wing, looking for Phelan. Thrown forward to try and get the Lions some sort of a spark here. The closing stages of the third term. Phelan's kick down the line to Hassett. His 43rd consecutive game since making the move from Port Melbourne at the start of 2010. Hassett's kick inside 50, chopped off by Stevenson. Now slides in, pushing the back, going the way of Stevenson. 10 games for the West Coast Eagles. Hasn't managed a game though in 2011. All his matches coming last year. There's Stevenson's kick out wide to Brett Jones, a premiership player with the Eagles. Hoping to add one with Claremont this afternoon. Here's Swift. In his second grand final. His kick just reaches Whedon, his West Coast teammate. Whedon called to play on. Kicks down the outer wing. Handley the target. Hands on it. Now is Rumble crashing his way through. Got a hand pass going for Stevenson. Whedon able to knock the ball free. Oh, overrunning it was Mitchell. Socket away by Hassett. Picked up here by Hughes. Gave it off to Bletchenden. Kicks to centre half forward looking for Wheeler. Now with Laurie. Swung around in the tackle. Gets a hand pass over to Gilligan. Gilligan out wide to Lee in a bit of space. Lee loops his hand pass back over the top to Gilligan. Gilligan puts the Tigers inside 50. Wilkes the target. Takes the mark. 4 goals, 3 already for Bo Welks. He's taken some towering marks inside his attacking 50. He'll go back for his 5th here.
Half a step, mate. Wasn't a great kick, Ken, to advantage. We spoke about Ian Richardson's kicking. We spoke about Mitchell's kicking, but Gilligan's been first class.
Stay there, Robbie.
So for the 6th time this year, Bo Welks has got 5 in a game. And the Tigers are out to their biggest lead of the afternoon. They're up by 33 points in the Premiership quarter, which is now 28 minutes old.
So he goes over and congratulates Gilligan, but really good skills. And it's the thing that I think, personal opinion, may give this young man another opportunity. Had a year or two on Richmond's rookie list, but I think he's a beautiful kick of the footy, something that's so reliant on at the next level. I think someone could do worse than redraft Gilligan.
Boys, Jake Murphy's back up and walking the boundary with Dr. Lionel Lim. Not too sure if he'll come on. They're just going to assess him. I'll let you know more at three-quarter time.
OK, thanks for that, Todd. As Andrews wins the tap. Shark, though, by Cocky. Throws the right boot into it. Ruder, 4th quarter underneath it. Kerr over the top. Sank a fist into it. Reading it nicely was Headland. Getting around onto his left boot and going forward. Crawford put a hand up. Couldn't bring in the one-hander. But it's assisted by Mitchell. Now, Mitchell from the goal square. Hand passes into the pocket. Lurking there is Richardson. Goes with a long, beautifully directed kick, Richardson to Swift. He just flips the casual hand pass off to Brett Jones. He's found Rudderforth as the siren goes. And with 1 quarter to play, Claremont looking just too powerful. They look poised to take out the 2011 Premiership, and I think their supporters know it. There's the 3-quarter time score. 13 goals, 12-90. The Tigers to Subiaco, 8-9-57. Yes, well, it's still a very fierce contest, as evidenced there by that clash between Jake Murphy and Des Headland. But the real story is on the scoreboard. Claremont now have extended their lead from 25 points as it was at half-time to 33 points. So the Lions are going to have to kick 6 goals just to get their noses in front, is something that you would think is quite out of the question.
Yeah, well, it's hard to make a case for that, Lammy, because they haven't been able to do that today. As I said, you know, their endeavour has been terrific, and I think we all admired that. They've seriously been hit about with some injuries. I mean, they lost Wheeler early. I know he's come back on the ground, but, you know, they've been without him effectively for 2.5 quarters. They've now lost Randall as well, so they're being stretched on the bench with rotations. That's an issue for them, and just they haven't had enough class. Or haven't had enough. The goals haven't flowed easily for them. I mean, they've got goals out of really hard work, whereas Claremont at the other end, with Wilkes playing so well, have really been able to stretch them down the back when they've gone forward, and they've got their goals in a much easier fashion. I mean, look, they're not giving it away, and they're hanging in, but you can't see them finding a spark from anywhere with that group they've got going at the moment to be able to get up and kick 5 or 6 goals to win the game.
Particularly because it's been a pretty physical game, and it's taken a toll on them, both in their numbers that they've got left at their disposal, but also I saw a few players there starting to cramp up already. Yep. So it's just going to be just too hard a task.
Throw Des in there, probably on one leg. Throw Adam Cocky probably on one leg. They're really struggling with injuries, but they've full credit to them. They've gutsed it out, but I think the Tigers have just got too many weapons.
All right, let's take stock of goal scorers to 3-quarter time. Bo Wilkes added another one to his tally in that quarter to go to 5. Trinity Handley has got a couple. There's a bevy of single goal scorers for the Tigers, and for Subiaco, Des Headland has 3, Ali Pickett and Blake Broadhurst 2 apiece. Chief possession getters for Claremont. Well, Tom Swift, he had a lot of the ball out on his own on the southern wing in that quarter. He's also taken 7 marks. Bo Wilkes has been outstanding, just 11 straight kicks, but 5 goals, 3 have stemmed from that. Blackwell with 19, Mitchell 20, Murphy 17. Hopefully he can come back onto the ground. Shammer with 16. Lee and Brett Jones have also been very good as well.
And for Subiaco, none better than Bristow, 28 possessions and 6 marks. He's been an outstanding player for them. Bloxy's just been rock solid across half-back. Kyle Horsley's done some very, very good things. Hildebrand and Kerr have had a fair bit of it. 2 goals to Broadhurst, Bletchenden and Headland as well. Desi Headland chipping in with 3 goals. It's been a great effort. And there you have the consolidated stats. The real standout there is the inside 50s, where Claremont have now passed the half ton, if you like, and we see Subiaco on 32 as we go into Claremont's huddle for the last time this season.
We're just not getting front and square, and the footy's coming out easy. So be really mindful, Jerick. You've got to get Choey doing that same thing, and you've got to get Foz doing the same thing. Really get rotations down. Okay, let's keep working hard. Here you go, me fella. Take a rest. Take a rest.
Just keep contesting, keep tackling. That's all we want.
Yes, well, Simon McPhee, I think, just managing his troops down there. A lot of them are having rubs and starting to feel the pinch, Todd, but also they'd be sensing a premiership coming up.
Yeah, well, you'd think so. They're not there yet, and you know, Simon McPhee, it's not over until the final siren. And you're right, Phil, a lot of boys are getting massages. It's the ground is very big and it's very soft, and even with the week off, they're really starting to struggle a bit. The only concern, obviously, is Jake Murphy. They probably won't risk Jake for the last quarter, but the message was just do the basics, do what we've done well all year, and let's take it home.
Yes, and we see Ryan Brabazon just in the shot there by you, Todd, missing out on premiership success. But Tom Swift has been a headache for Subiaco all day, getting first hands on the footy at a lot of stoppages. And he also called that outer wing his own almost in that third quarter. He just found a lot of space, put himself on offer for his teammates, who were very happy to use him up, by the way. He has got a few AFL pre-seasons under his belt, and he's not going to stop running, that is for sure.
Been very good, hasn't he? And that's the weapon that Claremont have, their midfield rotation. And if you tag one of them or tag 2 of them, there's 1 or 2 that are going to pop up. Andrew Foster, Andrew Brown, Byron Shammer, Kane Mitchell. You know, you spoke about Brabazon, what a luxury for, unfortunately, he's not playing, but another one that goes through there. Murphy now is, hopefully we can see him come back, because he's been one of the best players on the ground. As we see Simon McPhee on screen there, and what a great succession plan for the Tigers. He's coached at Colts level, he's coached at reserves level, and now gets his chance at the league level, and hopefully he's a quarter away from being a premiership coach.
Yes, he had to endure that horror last year of seemingly having a grand final in his grasp, only to see it slip away through the perseverance of Swan Districts and the brilliance of Andrew Cracker. But it would appear that he and his players are going to get their just desserts this season.
I tell you what, watching that game last year, if you remember back when Crawford took that mark, I think we all thought Claremont had won it.
Yep.
Yeah. Some 30 seconds later, it was gone again.
28. King Casellas and I high-fived when Crawford took that mark.
28-minute mark of the last quarter, he took that in gold, and then by 5 minutes later, 33-minute mark, Crackers.
Let's go to Rod Willett, who's got Subiaco's coach, Chris Waterman.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Chris, it's been about 1%ers, an opportunity all day. You just missed a couple that quarter, I thought.
Yeah, we did. Ali got smothered. We had a couple of guys forward. If we could have got to 3, it would have been good, but it's 5 now. I thought the boys really defended well. We'll go with the same thing, but, you know, we've been down a couple of players. Randall's gone now, so Wheels fortunately came out, and Cocky's done a medial, but he's still having a go.
You've got to find a few goals, obviously, to win the game. Hughes, Broadhurst, can you get them the ball in their hand and they can kick a couple?
Well, with Clancy back out, we've got the extra tall down there. You're just explaining to the boys, Sally Pickett's last quarter of footy, they just need the lift for him, anything's possible.
You've been gallant, mate, well done.
Chris Waterman and Rod Willett downstairs. It's been a great year for the Lions. They're going to have a great quarter. They trail by 33 points against the minor premiers, and we're underway in the final term as Andrews does the ruck work, wins the tap down to Swift. Hand pass out towards Mitchell. Gets the Tigers going forward. Handley couldn't take the mark. Spills to ground level. Here's Worthington. Hand passes into oncoming traffic. Parker dispossessed. Now Handley again. Forrest should get there for the Lions. Does just that. Hand pass close to the boundary line. Wilkes gets there first and almost just leaps for the line as if he's playing a different code, trying to score a try. It is the season, of course, the Rugby World Cup on at the moment. And the NRL Grand Final is decided last night. Handley hooks it down behind. Here's Parker. Got a hand pass out straight to Blackwell. Taken high. High fend off. So a free kick going. I thought it was Blackwell's free kick. And the kick's going the way of Bristow.
Yeah, it was a fend off too. He pushed him right in the face.
So Bristow with the footy. Short pass to Forrest, the dual premiership player at centre-half back. Loops a hand pass inside the centre square to Bletchenden in his first grand final. Kicks to centre-half forward. Fist comes from Crawford. Just bunts it away. Trying to keep his feet. Rumble. Ball on ground level. Brown lost it. Now it's Hughes. Gave it off to Bletchenden. Kicks inside 50. Bouncing ball out in front of Broadhurst. Close to the boundary line. Crawford, Headland sees it over. Another boundary throw in. Inside, Subi's attacking 50. They trail by 33 points. Opening 90 seconds of the last term in the grand final for 2011.
Just wondering if it'll be also Des Headland's last quarter of football. Difficult to say. No decisions perhaps been made on that one. Tackle applied there by Bristow on Brett Jones. Brett Jones gets up looking for a fight. Bristow got the footy and then he was dispossessed.
David Corbin playing in his 5th grand final.
Yep. All losing one so far, and you're chucking the Foxtel Cup grand final. That's 0 from 5.
Andrews wins the tap. Bristow sharked it brilliantly. Gave the hand pass off to Cocky. Snaps on goal. Just couldn't bend it back enough. Disappointing end for Cocky. And feeling the pinch there, Chris Waterman. He would have loved to have seen that one steered through.
Spare a thought for your former teammate in Rory Walton as well. Played in 4 losing grand finals and had a year off from footy this year. As the kick towards half back is coming back in the other direction for Claremont. Davey to Horsley. Inside 50. Broadhurst has got it on his chest. He needs to go back and kick this to keep the hope alive for Subiaco.
A lot of talk about Blake Broadhurst, Judgy. Do you think the next level has passed him?
Well, it's a concern. He's 26 in December.
Yep. Plays full forward.
I don't think, to be honest, I don't rate the age thing. I think if you're good enough, even at 26.
So Broadhurst makes no mistake. The sharpshooter keeps Subi in touch.
And at certain clubs, I think he'd be worth a chance.
Yep. If you need that type of player, you need that piece of your puzzle. I agree. I think he's one that slipped through the system. Gee, the 2 local clubs could do worse than rookie him. Really good play here from Horsley. He's just tried and tried and tried. Deservedly runner-up in the Sandover Medal. Has a great year, and I think he is one that will go to the next level.
Yep, he's just got better and better.
There's a fair bit of interest in him, I think.
He's played well enough over the final series, I think, to really cement his name in at a number of clubs, at least in the decision-making process. Andrews again got a hand to it. Cocky dives on the footy, and they pack up on him, so there'll be yet another ball up. They'll be pretty relaxed in the Claremont coaches box. Ryan Brabazon looking on from behind Simon McPhee and Rod McQueen, who was the successful reserves coach. Foster was dragged down. Subiaco supporters call for holding the ball, but the umpire decides that he'll come in and bounce it. There is Foster. He had ample opportunity. You often see that paid. Not on this occasion. So umpire McPhee to ball it up. Horsley, 3rd man up, won the tap. Ferreting after it was Blackwell, got it to Swift, then on to Mitchell. He drives them forward over the head of Richardson. Worthington is there for Subiaco. Goes to ground under the weight of a tackle. The ball emerges. Wheaton just soccers it clear. Swooping on it there is Richardson. Fires a hand pass back to Wheaton. Kicks it virtually into Darren Rumble. Deflects off his body and goes over the line and out of bounds for a boundary throw in right full forward for the Tigers.
Kane Mitchell's just got better and better as the game has wore on.
Yep.
His fitness is the key, and I've really liked his work ethic and his hardness today.
Jones doing some of the ruck work, but Subi come away with the footy out of the defensive 50. Horsley's kick finds Hughes, wants to go, tackled and holding the ball. Jess Laurie knew exactly what was going on, competed in the contest, turned around and was able to drag down Hughes as he wanted to make the quick getaway. Laurie just pumps Claremont long back inside there. 50. Wilkes floats across. Free kick. It'll go Subi's way against Chad Jones.
Chad Jones had an ordinary one, hadn't he?
Did a couple of nice things in the third, but well down on his usual output.
Rumble flares it to the pocket, and here's Parker. He's got through the afternoon relatively well after coming in with the injury cloud over his head as well. Short pass to the back pocket. Here's Abe Davey across the goal face. Cocky marks. Foster very energetic on the mark. Adam Cocky.
Hang on. Reset it, you out. Reset it, out.
Hear the call from the umpire there, just resetting the mark for Andrew Foster. Cocky looking to try and get around him. One way then the other. Goes on a jinking run and kicks out in the Hughes direction. He marks at half-back for the Lions.
So back to Hughes again. He's really played a lot of the game today backward of centre. Wheeler on a lead, but only a half-hearted one. And the pass goes to Headland. So he's right on the defensive 50. Sees Hassett run from near the interchange area, and that's the way the pass goes. Pat Hassett. Lead comes from Wheeler. It didn't get to him because Rutherford stuck a hand in. Franz was dumped, picking it up Rutherford. He's dumped as well. Still plenty of aggression being shown out there from players in both sides. And the umpire will sort that mess out with a ball up. Brandon Franz might be just a little bit worse for wear. He's the last one up. There's the initial collision. And then Clancy Wheeler says, here, try this on for size. He knows what it's like. Headland puts a fist into it, taken by Hassett. What a great smother. Straight off the chin of Kane Mitchell. Brilliant effort. And there it is. Just committing himself 110%.
And that's been Claremont to the day. And don't forget he's struggling with a couple of sore ribs as well.
In a physical game, 26 points the margin. Claremont leading Subiaco. As Brown gets the kick away inside the centre square. Good mark. Wheaton running back with a flight. There's Jerick Wheaton. Goes in the Jones direction. He marks out in front of Parker. Jones bounces back to his feet. The Jewel Burney Naylor medalist heads inside 50 with the pass. Out wide looking for Wilkes. Couldn't take it. Numbers with Subi. The two players collide. Rumble into Hughes. Now the ball lands in the lap of Foster. He's tackled and dispossessed. Jones sets Brett. Goes in for Claremont. Hand pass away, but only as far as Rumble. Now Foster. Shammer free in the pocket. Works back on his left. Back to the corridor. Looking for McClernand. Couldn't mark. Weirden traps the footy for the Tigers. He's tackled. Ball held in. We'll have a bounce. 20 out from Claremont's attacking goal.
Wheaton's second half has been pretty good.
Yeah, he's battled hard, yeah.
Fair bit of footy.
Premierships in the Colts and the reserves for Jerick Wheaton in the last 2 seasons. Stevenson and Handley. Handley wins the tap. Forrest kick, partially smothered. Here's Blackwell just held off it, sliding in Phelan. Also Rutherford just tried to bury his head into Forrest and receive the free kick.
And his head down over the ball. High tackle.
So Clancy Rutherford kicked the goal from a similar position at the other end of the ground to close out that third term. He'll look for his second in his final game of footy this afternoon, the Claremont captain.
They haven't troubled the scorer yet in this final quarter, Claremont.
Phil, we've got Jake Murphy just running up and down the boundary, trying to convince the doctors that he can go back on, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to risk him at this stage.
Claremont 21 more inside 50s today than Subiaco. Here's the captain, Rutherford, to push it back out to 32 points. Captain's goal in this final term, and the Tigers are going to be very, very tough to overcome from here. They lead by 32 points, the 10-minute mark of the final term in the 2011 WAFL Grand Final.
Yeah, well, a good effort by Rutherford. I mean, he was hard at the ball there. I mean, you know, I suppose you could debate whether he hasn't sort of milked for the free kick here. But look, if you go hard enough at the ball, as he did here, maybe ducked, maybe it could have been play on. But look, his endeavours probably won in that contest.
And that's the way he's played all his footy, Clancy. If you remember him, a couple of years on the rookie list for West Coast Eagles. Yeah, played fantastically well and hard for a whole 170 games. Life member of the Claremont Footy Club.
So umpire Hendry bounces the ball, won by Andrews. Chance there for Stevenson. He got a hand pass to Bloxage, but there was a free kick. Maybe something off the footy. Swift, I think, was held.
No, he actually threw it, Lammy, the disposal.
Okay, illegal disposal. So Shammer with it. Well, no one's just too sure whose free kick it is. It is Swift's after all. runs too close to the man on the mark. The ball was touched off the boot. Stevenson for Subiaco stood up pretty well in the tackle and got a hand pass to Bristow. Works the ball across his body to open space, but out there is Blackwell. Got a hand pass despite the tackle to McLernan. Back to Swift. Onto the left boot. Swift into the pocket. What a great kick. And the spoil was effected down there, I think, by Forrest.
Yeah.
He just got into the contest, but it looked as though Richardson was going to mark it. There it is there. And
just waited for that. Richardson didn't run through it.
Forrest perhaps had an arm across his shoulder, but it was a great spoil nonetheless. Here's Forrest again trying to get a kick away unsuccessfully. Goes to Shammer, high up and under. Will it be paid? Doesn't matter. Bloxage goes the punch. McLernan with the ball caught at his feet. Pushed off balance. Bristow had it, lost it, and now it's walked over by Reece Bletchenden.
Crowd of just under 15,500 at Subiaco Oval today. As Andrews wins the tap for Claremont from the boundary throw-in. Still fighting on. Wilkes has it. Tries to bustle it forward. He's eventually mown down.
There was the forecast of rain, Corbin, but the conditions really been ideal.
Turned on a terrific day today for the 2011 Grand Final in the WAFL. Going down in the ruck contest was Stevenson, and he was thrown down. A free kick going his way. Hands it off to the running Forrest. His hand pass partially cut off. Hildebrandt does well. Spun around. Got a hand pass going the way of Headland. Put it on his left boot. Here's Rumble marking on the defensive edge of the centre square. He'll kick out wide. His pass finds Worthington. Been among Subiaco's best this afternoon. And there's Worthington's hand pass over the top to Hildebrandt. Hildebrandt long inside 50. Broadhurst the target. One-on-one with Laurie at the back. Brown outnumbered. Does well to trap the footy for the Tigers. Got it off by hand to Blackwell. He rushes the behind. A goal-saving effort from Andrew Brown on the last line of defence. And the margin.
Was it Brown or Blackwell?
Blackwell
handballed it through.
And Brown jumped
Brown locked it up.
Locked it up.
So 31 points. Claremont 14-12. Subiaco 9-11.
Stevenson looking for Mitchell. Mitchell still got plenty in his legs. Won the footy. Gets support from Laurie. That's the way the hand pass goes. Prodigious kick from Laurie up over centre wing. Bounces into the arms there of Aidan Parker. Was he taken high? No. Hand pass from Rumble. Looking for Worthington. Now there's a scramble. Whistle goes and umpire Henry's found a free kick. It's going to go the way of Worthington. Running past him is Hildebrandt. Sean Hildebrandt to the half-forward line. Again, Laurie from behind and over the top of Kerr. Puts a fist in and forces a throw-in.
I tell you, that chase from Trinity Handley then, I think the clutch was slipping in the car. The motor was revving, but it was going nowhere.
Up and down on the spot. There are some tight
Clive
plays out there.
Waterhouse head wobbles going.
Decisive knock won by Andrews, and then Mitchell was assaulted almost in the tackle. He'll get the free kick. Subiaco player coming up worse for wear.
He's been good, Mitchell.
Yep. He's had a terrific year. Hildebrandt was the offender on that occasion. Mitchell with his free kick uses Laurie. Laurie will use Whedon. These Claremont players will be enjoying this. Whedon driving kick up over centre wing. Wilkes is there. Did pretty well. Good combination there with Gilligan, one of the experienced campaigners and one of the younger players. The Gilligan kick to position, but in best position to mark was Worthington. Feeds it off to Bloxage, and Bloxage has found Danny Hughes on right centre wing.
So Hughes' kick down to half forward. Broadhurst the target. He went down behind the play. Backing back first is his direct opponent in Laurie. Laurie's kick looking for Franz. Couldn't quite take the mark. Spills down to Bletchenden. Now Kerr feeds it by Handu. Bloxage. Back to Hughes. Hughes is kicked at centre half forward looking for Headland. Fills down to Hassett. Off to Headland. Raking left-footed kick going goalward. And he's missed everything. Hooked it too much.
Just on Mitchell, he's been invited to state screening, which is at least one AFL club is interested in having a look at him. Not national draft combine where you need 5, but at least one, so he gets a crack at it there.
So Jerick Whedon alongside the behind post. Long kick looking for Wilkes. Spills down to Blackwell. Picked up here by Brown. Loops a hand pass over the top to Blackwell. Kicks down the wing looking for Jones. Couldn't mark Handley. Now Swift. Tackled by Hampson and taken to ground. Swift still fighting on. Flicks it out to Gilligan. In a bit of space. Gilligan to half forward. Richardson the target. Forrest up over the top. Richardson should get back first. Richardson settles. Centering pass. Team footy. Spots up Lee. And he marks in the forward pocket.
That's another brilliant kick by Ian Richardson.
Oh, young fella. Gee, Byron Shammer's run down in there inside 50. You'd want to kick this goal because, quite frankly, he had no interest at all in passing this thing off to someone in a better position.
Pulls up. Wannabe Sox, Tom Lee. 13 disposals and 5 marks this afternoon. A reserves premiership last year. Lee on his way in. And the Tigers are well and truly home. Claremont by 37. The biggest margin of the day at the 17-minute mark of the final term. The Tigers cracked the ton. They're 15-12, 102. Subiaco 9-11, 65. Ken Judge and Brad Weira.
He was pretty good early, wasn't he, when the heat was on, Tom Lee? We spoke about him playing wing half forward. They just couldn't find a match-up for him. Very unselfish play. Not sure whether he's just too tired. Richo on any other given day probably would have ran all the way in and got the job done. But beautiful foot skills, beautiful left foot kick, kicked it to advantage as we've spoken about all day, and that's been the difference.
Well, they've done that on 2 or 3 occasions, haven't they? Players have been unselfish and found someone in a better position, and they've managed to convert.
Tom Lee became Claremont's 9th goal scorer as Wheeler's back in the ruck and won the tap, if you don't mind. Hand pass over the top from Bletchenden to Horsley. Short to Kerr. Kerr now to the run of Bristow. He hasn't stopped. Goes looking for Broadhurst. Couldn't take the mark. Chance down there for Cocky. He initially tied up Andrew Brown, and there's Mitchell again. And the umpire, still plenty of feeling in the match, there's no doubt about that. Mitchell hands the ball back to the umpire. There will be a boundary throw in at right half forward for Subi. Franz and Wheeler, neither of them really get much of a purchase on it. Davey fires a hand pass out to Hampson. Releases a hand pass to Wheeler. Falling kick across his body. Coming out to meet it there is Whedon. Gets support from Rutherford. Hand pass to Foster. Away they go, the Tigers. Oh, there's a man out there in the open space in Shammer. He's on the southern wing. He's just called it his own. There's no one else within hectares of him. 3 bounces. He'll take another one. No, he won't. He'll run to 50, and very, very unselfishly, he goes to Lee, who kicked a goal from virtually there a moment ago.
Corby, keep those emotions in check, son.
Well, this is the time, Ken, now in the coach's box that Simon McPhee will be sitting back and thinking of all those nights in the middle of June, pouring rain. He can sit back and actually have a well-earned break and enjoy the moment, which sometimes you just don't get to do in the heat of the battle. But hats off to his match committee. You know, they've got 12 minutes or so to sit back and savour it.
So Tom Lee can kick his 2nd goal in the space of a couple of minutes. This time he's away to the right-hand side, so much so that it has gone over the line and out of bounds on the full. So the kick not up to the previous standard, but it's all academic at the moment because the Tigers are well and truly in control of the match. 15-12 to 9-11. Worthington uses it short and finds Rumble.
Boys, they've just put Ali Pickett back on, probably maybe for the last 10 minutes of his footy career, so good to see him played out.
Yeah, and what a career it has been. The Rumble kick, a bit of a floater. Hampson nearly took the mark. He'll certainly learn a lot from this. Young George Hampson just playing in his 4th WAFL game.
Yeah. So
a
good experience for him,
week.
yeah.
He certainly has got the makings.
Overcome a couple of knee reconstructions as a teenager, made his way for the Scarborough Juniors and then onto the amateurs, and great to see him out there today. Here's Jones, that's Brett, kicks inside 50, Richo out on the lead, takes the mark. He'll go back and have a set shot from right on the 50.
So we're just on time on.
He's had a quiet, a relatively quiet day today, Richardson, really. Been reasonably well held, I reckon, and he got an opportunity here to, as Alan Jeans used to say, the late Alan Jeans, fill your boots, son.
Fill your boots indeed. Forrest has done a pretty good job, hasn't he?
Yes, been good.
12 disposals this afternoon. Number 13 coming up here from 48 out. Richardson goals. The Tigers are premiers. 16-12, 108. Subiaco 9-11, 65. And a bit of chance here in the junk time, Judgy, just to savour the moment for some Claremont fans after all the heartache of the last 15 years.
Corby, I tell you. You got a grin on your face like a Cheshire cat, mate, I tell you.
Some of us aren't too far behind him,
No,
Ken.
I know that. But at least you're keeping your emotions in check, Brad. Old Corby's not. Well done. No, they've been good. They've been good. And I suppose the thing is now that this is where Subi know they're gone, and this is where the damage gets really done. When sides, you come out with the belief you can win and all that sort of stuff when the game starts, and then you get in these situations, you think, well...
And Subi have been on the other end of it. They've inflicted that damage during junk time previously. The knockdown from Andrews. He's rucked very, very well to Blackwell, who punts it forward. Clever little toe poke forward by Gilligan. Here's a chance now for Shammer, who lines them up. Does he put another one on the board? He's missed it. Well, that would have been a little bit more icing on the cake. Probably one that Brian Shammer should have kicked, as Phelan chips into the pocket. Rumble. The chant of Claremont goes up around the ground. Whedon, an uncontested mark, goes short, and Gilligan will shoot at goal from 35 metres out.
There's a few people taking their late Alan Jeans's advice, Ken.
Yeah. Yep.
It's been pretty good, Gilligan. I spoke about his next level opportunity. What I didn't say is he's got genuine speed as well, and we've seen that on show today. Not only can he kick the footy, I'll probably moz him now, but he can actually run and carry it with genuine speed.
Yep, and some of his delivery has been outstanding in general play. Let's see what he can do now here as he shoots on goal. He's already got one. Put him down for two. Elroy Gilligan finishes off a very, very, very impressive grand final. But he's got a lot of mates. The scoreline tells the big story. 17 goals, 13, 115. Subiaco, 9-11, 65. And really, guys, it would be unfair for this score to really blow out a lot more than this. There's still a few minutes left to go.
Yeah, well, it is. It is unfortunate from Subi's point of view, but it's just like in the end, as I said, Lammy, when we start the game, both sides believe they can win. Everyone's playing with great passion and intensity and that sort of thing. You get to this stage in the game, and Subi know they're gone, and sadly they fall away, and the other side tends to finish over the top of you.
50 points, the biggest margin of the afternoon. Continues to grow as Andrews doing the ruck work. Wheeler back in there for Subi. A brave effort to return after his heavy hit earlier. Blackwell had a hand on it. Foster drives on top of it. Free kick or throw. Will go Subi's way.
Jason Bristow, it's flicked up.
So Bristow to take the free kick. He's been good today, Judgy.
Yeah, he's played well, battled hard. Been no fault of his.
But ahead with the footy again. Averaging 24 disposals in season 2011. He's best in his fourth season at the club.
On the 50 on the line.
Short pass to Wheeler.
50 hold there, mate.
Still inside the centre square. A lead there from Headland. Ignored, so he decides to pump it long. Untidy kick off the boot. Makes it difficult. Bloxage gets it off by hand. Kerr in a bit of space. Hooks across the body. Gets one back for the Lions. A late consolation goal to Rhett Kerr. Michael Ricks, you can see there on screen, the most dominant ruckman in the competition, missing today. The margin back to 44 points. And Lammy, it's been amazing that the way that it worked out with Andrew Ruck going down earlier on in the year and played last year. Him and Michael Ricks, the best two ruckmen of the competition, and due to injury, we've been robbed of seeing them both in action today.
And Ricks, of course, retiring. We're hoping to see Andrew Ruck back. What a great job that Andrews has done as a replacement for Ruck for most of the virtually all of the season, as Rhett Kerr, the goal scorer, walks the boundary line. Nearly 25 minutes gone, and the Claremont supporters really cheering at everything at the moment as Andrews wins another knock, but Bristow sharks it once again. Gives the hand pass off to Horsley, goes out wide for Cocky. With him is Stevenson. Cocky plays the boundary line. Yeah, there have been some outstanding performers. Not easy for our Brad Wirra, who's charged as being one of the judges for the Simpson medal. He's making some jottings as we speak.
A lot of scribbling going on
a lot of scribbling, a few crossings out. Horsley, a big punch, goes straight to Mitchell.
his name could be on the list. Sends the ball back up over centre wing. Good effort by Richardson to knock the ball to the ground. Gathering it is Hildebrand. Long kick up to the half-forward line. Lots of Tigers there. They were queuing up as we go down to Rod Willett, who's got news late in the game.
Yes, thanks very much, Phil. Well, this is the Premiership trophy that now the proud Claremont team has got after a fantastic game, and the man here, he just didn't want to let go of it. The Claremont man, John O'Connell, but well done, boys. Congratulations, Claremont.
Swift gets a clearing kick away down the broadcast wing. Wilkes in front. Here's Rumble. Hand pass inboard out towards Gilligan. Sidestepping, then kicking down towards open space at half forward. Richardson running after it. Feeling in two minds whether to leave his opponent in the goal square. A free kick spotted, and it won't matter. Jumper being held, kick going the way of Forrest. And Richardson called back on the mark. Rob Forrest, a couple of premierships in his fourth grand final today. Looking to try and find a rumble. And across in front, Mitchell. He's had a good afternoon. Knocks it out of bounds. 17-13, 115. Claremont, they lead Subiaco 10-11, 71. 44 points, that margin. Doing the ruck work, Worthington wins the tap, but straight down to Gilligan. He's run a long way, has a bounce, run down, holding the ball, Bloxage, hand pass to centre half back, looking for Phelan. He's taken high, free kick to the Lions.
So Chris Phelan will take the free kick. Around about, well, between full back and centre half back. Gives it plenty of elevation, a bit too much elevation. Hampson was the target, but the elevation allowed Mitchell to get into the contest. As it was, he infringed, so the young Subiaco player of the future will take the free kick. Sends it up toward the wing. Brett Jones hands up highest, couldn't hold the mark. But still, the Tigers showing plenty of tenacity. There is Simon McPhee, can hardly contain himself on the boundary line with Clay McLernan. Wouldn't he be enjoying this, coming across from Perth Footy Club to savour a premiership?
Got him across last year after Andrew Cracker's great game. He's tagged his way all through the year. Great inclusion.
Ball up. Andrews wins it. Shammer still trying hard. Too many lines for him to get clear. Yeah, Simon McPhee, he really looked reflective there just a moment ago, didn't he? I mean, I'm sure so many emotions going through his mind. Adam Lang, he's a part of the coaching staff. Great to see Jake Murphy up and about. He'd love to be out there, but he's been a huge part of it as there is more whistle, and this time it's a Tigers free.
Savouring the last couple of moments. Andrews with the footy on the grand final logo. His kick isn't great. Slides up the side of the boot down towards Gilligan. He'll see it over the boundary.
Thanks, mate.
10 premierships for the Claremont Football Club. This will be number 11. Their last back in 1996. For the boundary throw-in, a little shallow. Stevenson in front. At the back is Foster. He's tackled. And great effort late in the game. Diving across in front for Subiaco to lay that tackle. Sean Hildebrand rewarded with the free kick. He'll go back with the pass. And Forrest has it. The top of the defensive goal square. He's called now to play on as Forrest brings the footy out wide. Too wide, in fact, out of bounds on the full.
Over the fence.
Free kick to the Tigers through Stevenson. Louis Stevenson will just pop it up towards the hot spot. All alone, David Crawford marks. Be fitting here, Brad.
Ironically, where he took a mark probably about this time last year.
I think someone might have just mentioned to him.
Go back and savour it. But you have a look at that.
But that mark he took last year in that grand final, it was a good mark. Just
Wasn't
a
it?
clump one in a real tight situation. I think there'd be a bit less stress and pressure on him there.
So Crawford goes back, kicks the goal, some icing on the Claremont cake. Back out to 50 points. The Tigers 18-13, 121. They lead Subiaco 10-11, 71. The dying moments of the 2011 grand final.
Yeah, so look again, I mean, it's 50 points, but you've got to admire Subi. They have had a real red-hot go. They've just run out of personnel. They've run out of personnel, and a number of players that are out there are injured, obviously, or under, under some duress, and their class and their healthier list and probably a bit better quality of player out there has got on top of them in the end.
So restart in the middle. Horsley gets his hands on it. What a great game he's had to finish off a terrific year. Hughes was the target, but he couldn't mark. Emerging with the footy is Laurie. Goes out wide to one of their stars, Mitchell. Mitchell with him, Hampson. Hampson applies the tackle. Mitchell had no option but to release the footy. Picking it up, Stevenson. The hand pass was errant. Comes back to Mitchell. Beautifully weighted pass. Foster and Gilligan get tied up with each other. Comes out from Worthington to Phelan. And the ball eludes all and sundry, including Kane Bloxage, and there'll be a ball thrown in. A lot of people starting to mill around the Claremont interchange area, which will erupt within seconds, you would think. Over 31 minutes have gone. Andrews wins another tap. It landed straight into the arms of Kane Bloxage. Another ball up.
I like what Simon McPhee's done with some of his elder statesmen, Rutherford, Crawford, put them all forward. They've been there for a long time and really deserve this moment.
Time for one more. It comes down to Blackwell. Great effort by Horsley to put him off. Still the ball is alive. Gilligan is there. Worthington for Subiaco. Prevails. No, he was too slow. There's a free kick. Claremont have won. Absolute elation there. But there is one more kick in this game. The Claremont players are in full celebration. You can see them there. But a free kick to Elroy Gilligan. So the margin will certainly go beyond 50 points. Meanwhile, it's all about the celebrations and jubilations within the Tigers camp. But Gilligan has yet to finish the game. He's had a terrific one. He can kick another goal. He does. So the margin, 56 points. And Elroy Gilligan finishes the match with 3. But the real story is that one there after the year of despair. The grand final that was absolutely stolen from them. They have now made amends, and the Claremont players are duly celebrating. Well, it would have been a long season, boys. The memory of a grand final lost is not erased easily. And look at Ali Pickett there. Well, the last time we'll see him grace a footy field, shaking hands with Todd Ridley. Not the way he would have wanted to go out, but a 4-time premiership player. But it is all about the Tigers, because that would be now, Brad, a distant memory, the grand final loss of last year.
Absolutely, and see jubilation there all over the coach. He really did it hard. He spoke about during the week how many times he would have been asked about the 1-point loss to Swan Districts. I thought he handled himself fantastically well, not only on the field but off the field. He's a very humble man and deserves this day.
Let's go down to Rod Willett.
Yes, thanks very much, Phil. One of the great players of the day. Bo, how does it feel, mate?
Mate, unspeakable. I can't explain. You know, we've been working so hard for the last 2 years for it, and you know, this one goes out to all our supporters who have stuck with us through thick and thin, and yeah, just over the moon, mate, over the moon.
Mate, you're a great team all year, but you had to perform and put everything on the line today, and at the end of the day, you were probably just a little bit polished and a little bit too good for Subi.
Yeah, tight bus all day. You know, they're a quality team. They won 9 in a row coming into this one, so they're always going to be pretty hard to get over the top of, but we just kept persisting, mate. We knew that we had it in our legs, and credit to the boys. I couldn't be prouder than the lads. You know, the reserves to get up and win a premiership, league to get up and win a premiership. What a day.
Mate, you've been used all over the ground all year. They put you up forward. They needed a big mark. You delivered. You kicked 4, or in the first half, probably should have had more, and finished off with a fantastic game yourself. You can be proud.
Yeah, mate, it's just, you know, I get given a role to play each week, and like every one of our players, you know, and we just ask that from each other to play that role as best we can, and, you know, I'll just give it my all every week, mate.
Now, I know how disappointed you were last year when you got delisted, you know, from the AFL, but you must still hope that there's another chance there somewhere for you, especially after a polished performance today.
It's out of my control, mate. If someone wants to take a punt and get me on board, so be it. But, mate, I'm as happy as a day down here with the Tigers boys. I've got brothers down here now. We've won a premiership together. Play the next 5 years if I can down here with these boys. So going to get over there, mate.
You're a good man. Good on you, Bowie.
Yeah, and I've got Clancy Rutherford right here. Clanger, 15 years the club has waited for this. Bit of heartbreak along the way. How's it feel, mate?
Well, it's everything that everyone talks about. You know, it's relief, it's satisfaction. You know, it's ecstasy. It's just that feeling of 10 years of hard work, and especially for this group, probably 2.5 years of building towards it, and just justification for, you know, the bond that we've got, and you know, the group of boys that we've got.
And on a personal note, mate, last year, heartbreak for yourself. Did you think this moment had passed you by?
No, definitely not. I thought the talent within our group and the bond that we've got would probably stand us in good stead this year, so I had to go around again, and I was pretty confident that we'd be in the mix at the end of it, and we were, and you know, it is a bit of a fairy tale, to be honest.
And there's always a few blokes who miss out, but they didn't miss out too much because you won the reserves premiership. But maybe a few names. I saw Ryan Brabbers on there, very upsetting for him, but a few other boys who were very close.
Absolutely, and they're a huge part of it, even the guys that didn't play. So I think in 10 years when we catch up, it won't just be the league team, it'll be the Resi's boys and the guys that missed out. That's the strength of this group, and you know, just looking forward to the next few days.
Good on you, mate. Life member, premiership captain, premiership player. Pretty good ring to it.
Happy days. Go Tigers.
Go enjoy it. Back to you, Phil.
Yes, very well done to Clancy Rutherford. The most deserving victory for him, missing out last year, but doing himself and his club proud this afternoon. Played his part, led from the front, as good captains do. He had a lot of support, and he alluded there to the depth at Tigerland, winning both the reserves and the league premierships this year. Let's have a look at the goal scorers and just take stock of all of that. Beau Wilkes, quite outstanding, probably could have 7 or 8 goals, but his 5 was a match-winning performance. And Elroy Gilligan, he was a class act. I thought he just got better and better as the day went on, kicked his goals late as well, used the ball extremely well, unselfishly, as did Clancy Rutherford. And we might just take a break there because, importantly, Rod has got the coach.
Yes, thanks very much, Phil. We're a very proud moment here for Simon McPhee. He's got a few helpers here with him as well. Simon, mate, tell me how it feels. It's been a tough road for you for the last few years.
Oh, look, mate, it's you know, obviously hard to describe straight after, but we've had a really, you know, a tough time. Not a tough time, but a strong time 2.5 years ago, and the group of players we've got have just bonded together, and we worked through. We obviously improved last year. We didn't get where we needed to go, but to be able to get back together and get everything going again and everything moving again, and with a Foxtel Cup and things like that, and to manage this group, you know, is a remarkable group. You can see that by the fact that the guys that didn't play actually went back and played well and played for our club and played with their heart. So we're very fortunate to have such a remarkable group of players and support staff and coaches and everything else. We're a lucky club at the moment.
Now, mate, I know you can never take them back, but last year's one got away. Has this made up for it?
Oh, mate, yeah. The last year, Spinner. I'll just really sit back and watch these boys enjoy their moment, because they have worked very, very hard for it, and I'm so proud. I couldn't be more proud of a group of blokes. So I just want them to enjoy it and the club to enjoy it. It's been a long time coming.
You've had a terrific year, and the amount of depth, like you said, the players that you've had at your reserve, the guys get on well. They're very close. You know, I know a few of them pretty well. And you've got the double with Blackie with the Sandover, and also the Premiership Cup as well.
Yeah, he's had a big year, Luke. I don't know how he's going to go at work next week, because on the back of the Sandover, he might have a big week this week. But, you know, again, good things happen to good people, Spinner, and sometimes it takes time, and sometimes you have to work your way through things and grind your way through things. But it's no secret to life, is it? If you put your head down and you bum up and you just keep going, eventually things will turn your way.
No, fantastic game, and Subiaco, the opposition, were very gallant as well. So thanks very much, mate. Enjoy it. I know you've got a couple of hard days of celebrating ahead of you. Good work.
Thank you very much.
Well done to Simon McPhee, the victorious coach, and with Rod Willett, did a superb job with the Tigers to get them up from last year's defeat. And there he is shaking hands with the vanquished coach in Chris Waterman. Terrific to see that spirit. Well, let's have a look and see how the match unfolded. It was really the Tigers all the way. They extended their lead from quarter to quarter, but from 12 points at quarter time, it was 25 points at half time. At three-quarter time, they led by 33 points, and the final winning margin was 56 points, 19-13, 127 to Subiaco's 10-11-71. As I said, the margin, 56 points. So pretty comprehensive in the end of the Tigers in winning the 2011 Premiership. Okay, well, that's how it look, Judgy, and Clint Weldon is standing by down on the ground to host the presentation. So we might go down to ABC Radio's Clint Weldon right now for this year's WAFL Premiership.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the presentation of the 2011 AAMI WAFL Premiership Cup. The WAFL would like to sincerely thank leading national insurer AAMI for their support this year. As the official naming rights partner of the 2011 WAFL season, AAMI has helped us make this a great year for West Australian football. And thank you for everyone to attending what has been a great, successful year of WAFL. The hallmark of the 2011 season has been the close WAFL competition. Please show your appreciation of all the teams throughout the year, and particularly our two grand finalists today. Part of the great AAMI WAFL 2011 season has been the umpires. Football's theme of umpiring must be everyone's business asks we respect the role of the umpires. And I would like to ask the umpires ball champion for 2011, Max Hale, to come forward and make these presentations. The umpires from today's game will now come forward to receive a grand final medallion in recognition of their achievements today. In the field for today's league grand final was Stuart Parry, Craig Hendry and Scott McPhee, and emergency Justin Orr. Running the boundary we had Adam Bastic, Michael Washbourne, Richard Heppenstall and Callum Brown, and in goal Michael Spear and Luke Edwards with scorer Jono Laycock. The umpires do a terrific job for the game. We respect the position of all officials that help our great game to get even better, and we also like to thank Max for his great contribution to the game via umpiring. Ladies and gentlemen, we've witnessed the culmination of the 2011 season here today, and while we have a winner, we also have a losing team who have played some terrific footy throughout the year. Would you please join me in welcoming the captain of Subiaco, Aidan Parker.
Came into today's game under an injury cloud. Aidan Parker, a three-time premiership player today in his fifth grand final. And Subiaco, with all their injuries, competitive for much of the game throughout before fading in that final term to lose by 56 points.
I guess, first of all, to our boys, well done on fighting back this year. So proud to be involved with a bunch of blokes like you, the way we sort of, we fought it out. It's a bit like Dad's army in the end there today with some of the injuries we got, but really proud of you guys, so well done on a good year. Just to finish on our guys, thanks to the boys, Michael Ricks, Desi Headland, and the great Ali Piggott retiring today. I'm sure anyone that's watched WAFL footy, doesn't matter who you support, you'd have marvelled at some of the things that Ali Piggott's done. So well done to those boys. Thanks to the supporters of the WAFL, it's been a great year. And to the Claremont boys, obviously, it's a pretty deserved premiership. You guys were just too good today. Can't really say much more. It was really well deserved. And just make sure you have an absolute ripper tonight and enjoy it, because there's nothing better. Come on, boys.
Thank you, Aidan. One of the enduring features of WA football has been the Simpson Medal. It has been presented since 1945 to some outstanding players, both in grand finals and in state games. And Mr. Paul Simpson will be joining me here on stage now to make the presentation to this year's winner.
Thanks, Clint. Firstly, bad luck, Subiaco. You played very well. I think you won the last 9-10 games before today, so that's a massive effort, and you deserve a lot of congratulations and all the best for next year. Secondly, Claremont. I had the feeling this was a campaign which went over 2 years, and it started last year, and you were determined that nothing was going to stop you this year. And I'm especially pleased because the coach, Simon McPhee, and his father was a very good friend of mine, and he passed away a few months ago. And so I'm sure he's looking down upon you now and congratulating you with all his heart. And well done, Clancy. I'm sure there's more in the future. Now, they gave me, the first time ever, they've given me the match ball, which I will present also to the winner of the Simpson Medal, who happens to be Bo Wilkes.
Brad Wera, you had the opportunity to give votes today, and Bo Wilkes had standing with 5 majors.
He was indeed, but got my 5 votes. Well and truly the most influential player on the ground. Fantastic effort from him.
First of all, got to say a massive thanks to Subi. You've been, a great team coming into the finals and just put up a massive effort today, and we were lucky enough to get over, but good luck for the future. Our boys, this is what you play footy for. We're brothers now. We've won a flag together. We've always got that till the end, so just so excited. And to our supporters, we couldn't do it without you. You guys stick with us through thick and thin, and it just lifts the boys so much, and we love you to bits. Got a little mate in hospital as well, Wazza. This one's for you as well, buddy, so let's go.
Someone else who has had a lot to do with many WA champions and indeed champion teams is John Todd, and John will now be presenting the John Todd Medal to the 2011 Premiership coach. The medal named after John in recognition of his outstanding coaching record and his long involvement in the game. John?
I'd like to call on Simon McPhee to come forward to present my medal to Simon.
Terrific reward for the coach of the Claremont Football Club in his second grand final today after taking over from Roger Kerr. And now a John Todd medalist.
Welcome to the club. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. I've got this in a bit of a knot, so you'll just have to undo that.
I'll spit it out, we'll get it out. I can't get it off. My head's too big.
Good on you, mate. Well done.
My head's too big. Thanks, John, for the medal. Appreciate it. Appreciate your kind words. Look, where do I start? Be important to start with the sponsors. So St George Bank, MCO, and Steeble, thank you very much for your support. Without sponsors and volunteers, we don't have a club. So thanks very much to our major sponsors. Bowie's touched on it, our supporters. Just remarkable group of people we have that support our club, and it's been a long, long time, so make sure you get back to the club because today's payday for all you lot. Thank you. To Subiaco, well, we were there last year, and there's not really any words that can describe the feeling, so congratulations on your year. Obviously a very proud club, and we'll see you guys again next year. Well done on your season. To our guys, I don't quite know where to start either. We have a remarkable group of players. If you were here early enough to see the reserves, there were quite a few disappointed guys running around, but they still went out and played their heart and soul for our footy club and were able to get a premiership medal as well. To the 22 today, the senior group, great effort. Just they don't give these things away, and I could see how hard you were working. And I think there's one thing that we've learned over the last couple of years: you get nothing for nothing. You've got to put your heart and soul out there. And I thought today, to a man, you did that. So I take my hat off to you. Everybody, get back to the footy club. Come for a beer. It's going to be a cracking night. Thank you.
Thank you very much to John, and well done to Simon. I'd now like to invite the Premiership players of the Claremont Football Club to come forward individually and accept their Premiership medallions from the members of your Little League team here today. And starting with player jumper number 3, Luke Blackwell.
The Sandover medalist, averaging 30 disposals this year. He was very solid again today for the Tigers.
Number 4, Ian Richardson.
A Simpson medalist in the state game back in 2008, a best and fairest winner, and now adds a premiership medallion.
Number 5, Jake Murphy.
Suspended from the second semi-final, played in the reserves grand final last year, was outstanding, and now has a league premiership medal as well.
Number 8, Andrew Brown.
He was the acting captain last year, had to get up on stage and present a very disappointing, the speech wasn't disappointing, but he would have been very disappointed, I'm sure, today. A premiership medal, he'll be very, very happy with that.
Number 9, Kane Mitchell.
Superb again, 20 votes in the Sandover medal. He was best on ground. The 2008 Reserves Grand Final picked up the Merv McIntosh medal and was close to it again today.
Number 11, Andrew Foster.
His AFL career cut short with injury, 49 games with East Fremantle. And another superb year as well, 24 votes in the Sandover back on Monday.
Number 12, Brandon France.
12th consecutive game in a row, had to wait till round 12 to get his spot back in the league side after playing in last year's grand final.
Number 13, Alroy Gilligan.
2 seasons at Richmond, his first year back in Perth with the Claremont Football Club, involved in today's premiership from the Fitzroy Crossing out in Outback WA.
Number 17, Trinity Handley.
He too was away from the club last year, playing with Port Fairy in the Hampton League. It's his 4th grand final today and his first time on the winning side of the ledger.
Number 19, David Crawford.
Perhaps the best story in the Claremont team, been involved in 4 losing grand finals, including the losing Foxtel Cup team in his 5th grand final today, a premiership player.
Number 20, Chad Jones.
The Jewel Burney Naylor medalist, perhaps it wasn't his best afternoon this afternoon, but he's been a great stalwart of this footy club for a long time and a deserved premiership winner.
Number 21, Tom Lee.
Another one to complete the progression from the reserves premiership last year to today, be involved in a league premiership. Hopeful still to get back on an AFL list after being with the Crows in 2009.
Number 24, Mitchell Andrews.
The important cog to Claremont's premiership came in to fill the void left by Andrew Ruck, and he's had a terrific season, averaging 31 hitouts after formerly playing with West Perth for the last 2 years.
Wearing number 25, Jesse Laurie.
Involved last year in that dramatic 1-point loss off the Port Adelaide rookie list in 2009. He's from Denmark, over 400 kilometres southeast of Perth.
Number 32, Byron Shammer.
Great story, retired from the Dockers, 2 games to finish the year. Back with Claremont to win a premiership today. Congratulations to Byron Shammer.
Number 33, Clay McLernan.
Another important part of the Claremont jigsaw puzzle, recruited by Simon McPhee. There's a real shutdown player after Andrew Cracker's devastation in last year's grand final.
Number 34, Lewis Stevenson.
On the West Coast Eagles list, 10 games last year. Another solid year in the WAFL. And his 2nd grand final, a premiership today.
Number 35, Tom Swift.
Came through the Claremont Colts, Christchurch Grammar School, 28 games with the Eagles, and a premiership medallion today.
Number 38, Brett Jones.
Perhaps finished with the West Coast Eagles after 102 games, a premiership in 2006, and now a WAFL premiership alongside his brother.
Number 42, Bo Wilkes.
And this year's Simpson medalist, 5 goals, 3, the dominant figure inside Claremont's forward 50 throughout the afternoon.
And number 44, Jerick Whedon.
Colts premiership in 2009, reserves premiership in 2010, and now completed the treble with his league premiership this afternoon.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the captain of the Claremont Football Club, please make him welcome Clancy Rutherford.
What an inspiration. Missed him last year. Returns today and tasting premiership success in his 3rd grand final.
I'd like to start by thanking the sponsors. St George especially, he's been a huge support in the last couple of years. Secondly, to our supporters who waited 15 years for this. I would like to acknowledge Subiaco, They finished like a steam train this year and, you know, really fought it out to the end. So even though they're off the ground, thank you, Subiaco. I guess in life you can attach importance to whatever you want. And I think the commitment that you put into anything is directly, has a direct correlation to the meaning that you get out of it. And that's why this premiership means so much to this group, and not just the guys who played today, but everyone associated with the team over the last few years. I'm going to keep it pretty short and sweet and just say that this is for everyone who loves the Claremont Tigers. Cheers.
Yes, well, there are plenty of supporters here who love the Claremont Tigers and probably haven't loved them, Judgy, for quite some time, as much as they do right at the moment, because they certainly have done their club proud. And great to see Clancy Rutherford, if, as we understand, he is going to retire, going out in that sort of fashion. It's a bit of a fairy tale story, isn't it? For him to miss last year's losing grand final with a broken jaw, fight his way back and then captain the club to their first premiership since 1996.
Yeah, no, it's a great story. Look, and as I said, when you come off what they came off last year, a close loss in the grand final, you know, sometimes you don't get an opportunity to redeem yourself. They've got an opportunity 12 months later, and so it's pretty special for those players that were involved last year, also for the coach Simon McPhee, but particularly for your supporters.
And when you look at players like Byron Shamma, we just saw a shot of Andrew Brown there, some of these players who have been to the AFL and come back and are still able to play their part with their footy club, play footy with their mates and achieve this sort of WAFL glory is a real credit to them, and it's great for that to play a part in the WAFL.
Absolutely. And yeah, look, I mean, I'm sure they'll have a great night at Claremont Footy Club tonight and a few good days ahead of them for all the players.
Some of the success stories, when you look at, well, Luke Blackwell, obviously another terrific year. The only thing that stood between him and, I suppose, consecutive Sandover medals was Henry Cracker.
Well, yeah, look, and look, he had a great year, winning a Sandover, won a premiership, 29 possessions today. Great effort too by him, so fantastic effort by him.
And also we have Mitch Andrews, who came across from West Perth. They needed a ruckman. Well, Andrew Ruck went down, needing a reconstruction. They needed a ruckman to carry them through the home and away matches and into the finals, and ultimately he was the man who basically unchanged just rucked throughout the entire season, and again today he did a manful job.
Yeah, no, he did well, and I suppose it was helped a bit by the fact that Clancy Wheeler was KO'd in the first minute of the game, so he probably didn't come up against the opposition's best tall player or best ruckman. So anyhow, he did his job. He's come across from West Perth. He'd be very happy with the move.
Yeah, the level of excellence that Claremont has been achieved. You know, in isolation, you can look at the improvement of someone like Kane Mitchell, who has been around the place for a while, has just worked so hard on his footy to get himself better and better, and achieved the honour of playing state footy today, this year, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 28 possessions as well. He got better as the game went on. He was fantastic for them. So, look, you know, they've deserved this, Claremont, and. As I say, I feel as though we're taking a little bit away from Subi, because I think Subi were fantastic today, and I've got to say that they really, really battled hard and were, you know, seriously under some duress.
Against extreme odds, and I think Simon probably summed it up when he said, look, we were there where you are this time last year. There really isn't anything that I can say to make you feel better about it, but as you say, I think under enormous odds, or against enormous odds, Subiaco really stood up, and we mentioned character and spirit a little while ago, but in defeat they really embodied that today.
Absolutely, and you know, Claremont have been the best side for the season, and you know, as often happens, and probably, you know, rightly so, the best side doesn't always win Lammy, but more often than not they do, and of course they've deserved it, and they've won the premiership, and you know, as I was saying, you know, it's been 15 years since they've won one, so they don't come around all the time. No. And as I said, they were favourites last year, and everyone expected them to win that, and they didn't. So they've had to wait 12 months to get that one back.
Won the Rodriguez Shield. They finished on top in the three grades, Colts, reserves, and also the league. They missed out on the Colts premiership because I think South Fremantle were just far too good. But they won two premierships today, the reserves and the league. So you're going to have to think that Claremont is going to be a powerhouse in the WAFL for a few years to come.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that they've kept this reserve side up there, there's a number of players that played in the reserves today that have played a bit of league footy. Now, the fact that those players want to stay around their footy club speaks volumes of their football club, because often when blokes don't get a game in the senior team, they often want to move elsewhere or go and perhaps play in country comps or in other comps and that sort of thing. They've stayed around there. So I think there's obviously a great spirit Claremont Footy Club, and that's a credit to their committee, their coaching staff, and Simon McPhee.
They certainly have worked hard at it. There's the Simpson medalist, Bo Wilkes. Probably should have kicked 7 goals.
Well, he could have,
5,
yes.
But he was the class act. Really liked the game of Kane Mitchell, and I thought Jason Bristow were a fantastic performer for Subiaco. And either of those 3 would have been worthy winners of the medal. But goals win matches, and 9 towering marks. Almost impossible for Subiaco to man up on him.
Well, when it was a bit of an arm wrestle to and fro, when Subi was still in the game early, he just took 3 or 4 really good marks and kicked important goals. It gave him that 3 or 4 goal buffer, Claremont, that really Subi couldn't get back from, could they? They sort of got to 3 goals behind a few times, but they couldn't make the impression to get back to level or even in front. And those efforts of Bo Wilkes in that, certainly in that second quarter, broke the game open for Claremont.
Now, Chris Waterman, his first year in the finals, first finals campaign, he did remarkably well, really. They had an easy win over South Fremantle in the first semi-final, worked really hard up at Joondalup last week. That was a bit of an arm wrestle, obviously found it pretty difficult, but that's a great season, Claremont Premiers, and it's been a terrific year here in the WAFL.
Someone like you. I don't know why they never noticed what I knew, but everywhere you go now, everybody's looking at you. Everything you do now, everybody's looking at you. Everywhere you go now, everybody's looking at you. Oh my, you got their attention. All eyes are following you. You got some magical secret. Just keep doing whatever you do. I don't know why they never noticed what I knew, but everywhere you go now, everybody's looking at you. Everything you do now, everybody's looking at you. Everywhere you go now, everybody's looking at you. See how they are caught in the moment. All heads are turning